be lifted higher, be lifted higher. Two more times, say, Jesus, you be lifted higher, be lifted higher, be lifted higher. One more time, say, Jesus, you be lifted higher, be lifted higher, be lifted higher. Strategies for growth and increase. If you're a businessman, listen. You're a pastor, listen. You intend to go into business, listen and listen carefully. I'm taking this thing in progression. It will keep getting hotter and hotter into the last part. Ayalabasata. Pray in tongues for 1 minute. Broski baralamaski labra shambreko kataya. Lord, the things I'm hearing now must make impact. They must be impactful. I must grow. I can't be small. No. I belong to a victorious family. I cannot be small. I belong to a victorious family. I cannot be small. The things I'm learning are tested and proven. Cobra zigla braskito basha. Lega barada. Glabros capriana mashataya. Yeah. Thank you, dear Lord. Brendis cobra shabliana manteka. Jesus. In Jesus' mighty name. The first advantage we even have is that we belong to a victorious family. And I want you to believe it. Satan know about it in the realm of the spirit. I've had a lot of people who have had series of encounters. The last one happened this morning. Someone sent me a text being intimidated in a dream by some hefty looking guys. And she asked them, do you know my father? As soon as my name was mentioned, they flew. Brothers and sisters, you belong to a victorious family. If you don't know it, you'll still be intimidated. Yes. One of my cousins, a dear lady, she comes here, I think she should be here, was strangled. She's just walking around the house, strangled, just fell. Unconscious, taken to the hospital. They called me and I spoke. Yeah, you are healed, Jare. Stand up and go home. And immediately she started going home. And guess what? The amazing part is that the person who is after, or the wizard that is behind, she sees the person in a vision. When she says apostle, he says, stop calling that name. That name is not good. That name is good, though. Somebody's about to kill you. She said, do you know if you call Jesus is apostle? He said, who is it? Stop calling that name. That name is not doing us well. It's not a good name. You belong to a victorious family. Even witches just know. Say apostle. She was a alien that cast out demons by his name. He will meet a demon possessor and say, my name. Alien. The demon checks out. We understand. We are victorious. Say amen. Strategies for growth and increase. Isaiah 60:22 and Zechariah 4:10. Let's start with two scriptures. You know, I always start with scriptures so that you won't think we are teaching something from somewhere. Isaiah 60. Everybody want to read. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Who said it? I, the Lord. I will hasten it. I've said it and I'll hasten it. A little one become 1,000. A small one a strong nation. That the least among us becomes strong and mighty. Zechariah 4:10. Media, you are part of those eating my time. For who had despised the days of small things? Who is it among you? Stop there, because that was the part I wanted to see, and I wanted to ask as a question. How many of you have despised small things? How many of you have despised little things? How many of you want to start big? Pay attention carefully, because what I'm about to say is very important. Our God is a great God, but He has a system of starting great things small. That's the first thing I want you to know. Our God is a very great God, very powerful God, very mighty God, but that He has a system of starting big things, great things, small. He will never start big things big. Why? Because He's in business with human. And our nature does not permit that. That if God lifts you in one day and takes you to the height He plans to take you to in one day, you will be the one to disappoint Him. You will even disappoint yourself and your family and everybody. So it's His system. He knows who He's dealing with here. Man. And man can be very, very funny. His configuration, especially after the fall, is funny. So He wants to do a big thing with you. And that's why He has a system of giving you dreams and vision. He will show you where He's taking you to. And then when you wake up from your dream, you are still where you used to be. It's a journey. He knows what He's doing. He has been like that with everybody. It's not just you. It's everybody, even me. Everybody. Every great person will tell you the same thing. I knew where I was going because I've seen it in my visions. But then they had to start somewhere. He's a mighty God, but He starts small. And the reason is because He's trying to help you. No, you really are the person He's helping. Is it that God cannot give it to us in one day? Who told you that? Ask, go and check what He did in Egypt. They were about to exit Egypt. How many days did He use to transfer the wealth? How many days? One moment. Go to the Egyptians. I give you favor with them. And in one day there was a massive wealth transfer. To now prove to you that they were not ready to manage it, they used that same money to build a calf. Is that it? That's where the problem is. So God can lift you in one day, but His problem is that you are not even yet prepared. That's why we receive teachings like this. And if you don't want to start small, it means you don't want to end big. So long as it's God you are working with. You don't want to start small. There are people like that. I don't want to start small. I'm looking for 2 million naira. Really? If you have 100,000, you are not okay? No. Even 200,000 will not do. What I want is 3 million. If you are like that, get ready. Because 3 years to come, you might still be where you are. Yeah. It's not a prophecy. You might still be where you are. Our God, massive, but He starts small. Were you an adult when you were born? Huh? Were you born an adult? You started somewhere, right? Growth process. And this is very important. You grew into the version you are now. You were not born like this. So why do you want to arrive in one day? We don't even arrive in one day. I've told you this again and again, that men don't jump up, men grow up. Men don't jump up. Men grow up. It's already a proof of pride if you don't plan to start small and you don't want to start small. I'm giving you the answer now. You are a proud person. Very proud. If you don't want to start small, you don't have to go and ask God whether you are a humble person. I'm answering you now. What did I say you are? The person is not here, but what did I say the person is? Proud. Very proud. Very proud. Imagine these are young ones that came and led the opening worship or the worship. My darling blessing. That's the name, right? Yes. Imagine she had told MD, why will you tell me to lead worship in workers retreat? Why not miracle service? No, think about it. But quietly she came and collected the mic. Then destiny took over. Even when the mic was not talking, he still was on it. There are people who won't like it like that. You want to climb up, you start from the first step down. You don't climb a ladder by jumping into, you will kill yourself. No, you will. So it's the system of God that you have to start somewhere. You have to. And He's watching. Don't think He's not watching. When He commits something little, He's watching. He's part of it. He's watching. He's a wise businessman. I will be about my Father's business. That's what Jesus said. Trying to tell us that the Father is a businessman. So He's not willing to commit resources to you that will get destroyed overnight. That's why a big ministry will start with 5 members. Have you heard things like that? Yes. Massive ministry, 7 members. Inside the 7, there is 7,000. Yes, inside it. But God will not give you, even if He give you 700, you will kill the people and run away. He won't do that. He will start with you somewhere. And he's watching. He's watching. Try to play around it. He's saying this guy is not yet serious for work. No, you won't grow from here. You see it? Very important. There are a lot of people who would have started small businesses. They have not started because they are waiting for a big job that will pay them 200,000. Waiting for a big job that will pay them 100,000. In fact, some are not even waiting for a job of 100,000. They are waiting for a job of 50,000. They are waiting 60,000 and they've been waiting for 2 years. The job is not coming. They've had breakthroughs that were up to 50,000. They didn't use it to do anything serious. There are people who got 50,000 and they multiplied it into 200,000. Are there people like that? Absolutely. There are people right now with strategies. Give them 30,000 naira. You will come back in 2 months and they must have multiplied it. And there are people sitting down waiting for a job that might never come. This is Nigeria for you. Wake up. This is Nigeria. We are told that only 2% of every graduate of every year, only 2% get a good job within the first 4 years. Think about it. 2%. How many people do we graduate every year in Nigeria? Only God knows. In hundreds of thousands. And that just 2% get a well-paid job within the first 4 years. And then even the 2%, 1.5 is those who have connection, whose parents, whose uncles are in well-placed position. The remaining one falls under wherever they fall into. That's Nigeria. Let me try to reveal to you what's happening in this country before you wake up. And every day there are people around us that need certain values. It's just that we are not seeing. It's just that we are not seeing. There are people who need something dearly. There are problems all around us that if you can find a way of providing the solution, money will look for you. I mean, it will look for you. The problem is that we want to start big. One of our dear ladies bought a popcorn machine, 16,000 naira, and she's already making way. Already making her cool money. 16,000 naira. Somebody had that same 16,000 naira and never thought of it. Is that it? Never. Never. The person is still waiting for 200,000, waiting for 2 million, waiting for 5 million. Somebody got 16,000 and is already multiplying the money. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of people, they might not be here, but there are a lot of people who are waiting for jobs, and the miracle God is doing to them is by not giving them the job. This one now, you are not happy about it, huh? Because all the while you've been trusting God for a job, and the miracle God is doing to you as a graduate is that He's not yet giving you a job. Because if He gives you a job that pays you 70,000, He has limited you for the next 8 years. You will do that work for 8 years and collect 70,000 and never know what to use it to do. Let me use that example, permit me. You were the one that was trusting God for a bigger job. No, barrister. You got the job finally, increased salary, and you were talking about there are times I get money in 5 zeros. But even at that now, the needs around it, before the money enter, the needs all around it, the money is finished. Is that true? You are not the only person, sir. Sit down. You are not the only person. If today the job comes and is paying you 200,000, same thing will happen. And I told you that day. Same thing. The needs all of a sudden will increase to fit into 200,000. You get a job of 500,000, the needs will expand. It's like they know, they are watching you. They're like familiar spirits. All of a sudden, one of our young men, I don't even know where he's seated, he's a pharmacist. He has to pick another job at night, working again in a hospital, just to try to gather more money to meet needs. And the more he's rising in income, the more needs. People keep calling, people keep coming. That's the danger of rising. And I think that's really, really a very serious thing. That when God starts lifting you to a level, you don't just feed your family alone. No. If you truly are a kingdom person, many hands are open. Some will start sending you texts, you don't even know them. You see it? So for many of you, God not giving you a job is that He's helping you. He wants you to come back and think. Because what will bring the money, the kind of money you need, is not in a job. And He knows that if you pick that, you might just settle, you won't think again. You will be with that job for the next 5-10 years, and you would have wasted the most important part of your life. You see, it might not be for everybody, but for some people. For some people. And then God keep giving you business ideas that with 50,000 you can kickstart. God keep giving you ideas. That with a young boy came to my office last week. I don't even know where the boy is. He told me I think he's around 14. You know, I said, Apostle, I need 5,000 naira. That is 6,000 naira. What do you want to do? I've made plans around my house and I've talked with my mom and dad. We've made a cage. I want to buy these little chicks. Like 10 or 20. I want to feed them. So that when Christmas is coming, I will sell them and then do this again. This guy is already thinking as a business person. He has made a cage already. What he's looking for is just 5,000 to buy 10. Think about it. 14. Not 20. 14. I'll be using a lot of people as example. One of our dear ladies here, a nurse, already has gotten a place. She's going into farming. She wants to buy chicks, birds. She's going into farming. With 100,000, you've started agricultural farming already. No, that's it. They start laying eggs. You are selling the egg. Later, you are tired of the egg. You go and sell the chicks, and you still make money. Think about it. A lot of people don't want it. They want a job. You dress and go to office. The office that you will go by 5 a.m. You know the hold up here. You will leave by 5 a.m. and come back by 9 p.m. You will even pray. Pray 30 minutes every night. Because you know you are gone with sleep. You see it? But I take what I'm saying now very serious. Take it serious. I'm glad these days we've been some of our ladies here, some of our young men have been trying to learn trade, and we've been doing our best. A lot of them have been learning trade, learning how to sew bags, learning how to do fashion, sewing and all of. This is the time. Nigeria now is not even for job. Forget this job thing. Forget it. But be willing to start small. That's the point. There are many investment schemes all around here. Many investments that you can make. And then the money keep coming and you multiply your money. There are investments all around. But I don't know of any because you are not asking questions. No, that's it. A lot of us here are investors. A lot of us. I know some of you. In fact, even in this place, we even have somebody who owns an investment company. Why not invest with him? No, think about it. Even right here. We are seated here. Do you know we have millionaires inside here? As we are seated right now, this workers' meeting, there are millionaires here. And there are people here who don't have 1 naira in their account. And you might be seated right close to the millionaire. And maybe he has an investment, something he knows about. Somebody is looking at his neighbor. Better focus on me and allow me to teach you what I'm teaching you. I'm ready for you this morning. No, as we are seated down here, I can spot some of them. They already know what they do and they get money. And you are not asking questions. Service will close. The next you carry your bag and you are going and sleep. You are the only person that is spiritual. You don't want to greet anybody. Nobody is your friend. You don't even ask questions. You see somebody looking nice, ask questions. See your body. Alpha. It's like the Lord is helping you. Please now. We have to rise together. Otherwise we'll keep disturbing you. You see it? Because let me tell you the danger of just having few of us rise. We will almost die. Because we have to take care of everybody. Yes. I've shared my own story with you again and again. See, there are times I will so give out money. I'm saying this from a very good heart. I'm only showing you how it works. I will so give out money that in a week or two, maybe I've given out already in 5 zeros. And to be very honest, I've not used 2,000 naira successfully on myself. Think about, and it's not ministry's money. I'm coming to that very soon. It's not ministry's money. I don't even know how they spend their money. Okay, I know. I used to see the paper. Yes. I don't have a hand in it. You see it? What I'm teaching now, if you think it's not important, very soon you will look for this message. Very soon you will look for it and be alone to rehear it. So waiting for a job is not it. Some of you already have a job that pays you 50,000. You say, I can't stay. You have to save from that money. You have to. This pandemic have showed us that if you don't save, there is trouble. This pandemic, do you know what we did? We bought plenty bags of rice and gari and everything to give out. People kept calling me from only God knows where. Families and this and that. And from a very good heart, we have to try our best within our power. People I don't even know. Apostle, we are dying. Apostle, this and that and that and that. This pandemic have showed us that if you have a job and you are not saving anything, you are in trouble. No, you are in trouble because this is not going to be the last pandemic. No, this is not the last. So you are earning 50, you are earning 60. You say, I can't still save. You have to save. Save it to a level you can invest that money. At least save to a point, even if it's 50,000, look for an investment you can drop the 50,000 there, let it start coming in while you save another. This is wisdom. Don't think what I'm saying now is just trying to hype you. You have to. Okay, Apostle, there are many needs around me. I show you a way. After removing your tithe, remove same amount and save it somewhere. Whatever will happen, let it happen. And you won't die. You won't die. You won't. There are times you are desperately in need of money. The money don't come. Do you used to die? Sure, you used to still survive it. You are the one that think you will die. Some of you, they will call you from home. Something is about to happen. If you don't send money, this house will collapse. It's a lie. It's a lie. That house will not collapse. Send 50,000. Tell them, it's well low. Nothing will happen in that house. I'm praying. I'm an intercessor. I will send you 7,000 naira. You want 50? It's 7,500. Father, in the name of Jesus, we'll complement with prayer. Some of you, the way your people in the village are under pressure, that's how you're under pressure. Some of our fathers are victims of this. There is one old uncle that didn't contribute to their life, always in the village. Month end, he sent a text, this and that, and then your father will carry everything and say, and his family is dying. Am I saying you should not give? No, you should have known me by now. I think I'm truly a giver. I give, to be very honest. I'm only teaching you that if you are not wise on how you manage finances, there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a problem. Hallelujah. Let's get back to starting small. Some of us would have been far beyond where we are now if we had agreed to start small. Yes, far. Somebody asked me on Monday, Apostle, I play keyboard and I don't have a job now. He even attends our meeting once a while. He came from Abuja for counseling on Monday. Is it wrong? There are people who want to learn keyboard and they've been disturbing me. I know I'm good. Is it wrong to organize classes for 1 or 2 persons and then ask for money? I said, no, it's school fee. He said, no, I was thinking it's bad. It will look like I'm trying. I said, it's school fee. Don't just put it too much, but it's school fee. Okay, we'll take two months class twice every week, and then you have to pay me for every month 3,500. So that's 7,000 naira for 2 months. Imagine you have 4 students. How much is that? Think about it. Instead of going and you are gifted, there is something you can do. This is when you have to wake up. You have to learn to start small. You have to. Ministry start small. Business start small. Every great thing you see start small. The problem is that young people are not willing to start small. I'm usually amazed. I'm a young person, and let me just teach you. There are times a lot of young ministers come in here and then they come to see me, Apostle, this big work you are doing, this and that and that and that and that. You could see the way they desire it, and they are now, it's like they are not, you are working, where we are like this, we didn't start here. No, we didn't start here. We didn't start here. We are going to be 5 years by November in Massacre. We've been in Kenya, this is about 7 years now. Think about it. Apostle, but there are ministers who are more than 7 years and they are not like this. Only God knows what they are doing. I've been praying my life out. I've been studying. I've been doing my best. You see it? But you have to be willing to start small. You have to be willing. You have to be willing. Hallelujah. If you can't manage small money and you're waiting for big money to manage, it's a lie. You won't manage it. You won't manage it. It was Bishop David Oyedepo that said something that really blessed me. He said, you don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. You don't grow big to manage well. That's what he said. You don't grow big to manage well. No. You manage well to grow big. Alright, let's Jesus, 35 minutes. I've not started though. 35. Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's make progress. Strategies. Not the following strategies. For growth, if you really want to grow that company, you want to grow that ministry, you want to grow that business, not the following strategies. Number 1, It's not the tongues. Oh. Some of you wanted to start writing the tongues. Number 1, tongues. Ba? Number 2, don't start with capital. Okay, number 1, ba? My God, is this time that is really not making me happy with myself. Don't start with capital. You don't start a business with capital. Don't start that business. It's not money you want. Don't start with capital. Start with knowledge. Some of you think it's money you need to start a business. It's a lie. Forgive you that money, you squander it. What you need is knowledge. You don't start by getting a shop. You start by getting knowledge, getting understanding. You will run and go and get a shop because you think you have 500,000 somewhere. You now go and buy something you don't even know anything about and stock it there. After a while, you are tired of going to that shop. You didn't know that going to shop every day is stressful. You didn't know. No, you didn't know. You start by getting knowledge. You should know something about that business. Get an understanding first. But because poor people overvalue money, they now think money is everything. It's a lie. If you are thinking like that, you are a poor person. Grow up. Drop that mindset. Poor people overvalue money and they think money is everything. Yes. Successful people know that the problem is not necessarily money. It's something you don't know. I'm telling you the two different ways people think. Poor people think what they need is money. Successful people know that what they need is information. Is information. That is something you need to know. If I give you 500,000 and you don't know something, you will finish that money. It's you that will come back and say you don't know how that money went. You are not the first. There are people who got money like that and didn't know anything about it. Later the money dissipated. What happened to it? They don't know. Some of our parents were like that. They went and opened a shop and started. My father did that. Let me even use my own as an example. Let me not use somebody's father. Before you think I'm trying to be harsh on your father or on you. My father started a shop. Knew nothing about it. Guess what he will do? The profit will gather in 2-3 weeks, like 60,000 naira. You go and collect it. He will collect it and squander it, and not buy to replace. After a while, the shop died. Why won't it die? No, why won't it die? What you need first is not money. It's not even a shop. It's information. It's knowledge. It's understanding. But because people who really want to succeed are eager. What they just think the major problem is money. And it's not money. It's not money. So what you need first is understanding. It's information. You want to go into a kind of business. You don't study anything about it. No professional skills. You want to go into ministry. You don't study anything about any man of God. You don't even know how they start. The next thing you just do is bam, you started. Yeah. Sure, you will come back. You come and ask questions. I'm telling you. You guys are laughing. You come and ask questions. Ministry. That is something an information. You should be guarded first. Some think what they need is a hall and equipment. Right? Pastors. Some think what they need is first committed workers. Let me have like 50 workers. Have equipment, have a worship team, have this and that and that. If we are said we'll take over the world, you are lying. You won't even take over that city. You won't even take over that city. There is something beyond that. There is an information you need. There is something you need to know. It's not by gathering and doing all of. No, it's beyond it. I can tell you that again and again and again. Hallelujah. Number 2. You want to grow it, be excellent and very disciplined. I'm trying to add 2 things together. Be excellent and be disciplined. Whether a ministry or a business. I know it's a small business that is starting. It's a small popcorn business that is starting. But there should be a level of order and excellence in your popcorn joint. There should be a level of excellence and order in your shop, your fashion shop. There should be a level of excellence in the way you discharge your services. A level of excellence. And discipline should be added to it. See, you start running it like what you want to be. When you want to have a big company, The small one you have, run it like the big one you have in mind. The discipline you bring into it should be the discipline you plan to bring in when you are big. Yes. The excellence you want to bring in should be the one you bring in now before you get there. A lot of people are not excellent. A lot of people are not disciplined. They keep saying things like, all we need is money. Then you see the excellence will bring out. It's a lie. Excellence is not money. Excellence is a spirit. Excellence is a spirit. If you don't have it now, when you are broke, you won't have it when you are rich. We're following a very big church. Of course, I won't call them fathers in the land. And of course, we honor them. And then the sound in the church was echoing. We were just listening at home. And then I think MD was with me. He was telling me, so the sound is here, is it echoing? Is it that they cannot pad this church? Don't they have the money? I said, money? This thing is not about money. This one now is about the spirit of excellence. Do you know how wealthy some of these our churches are? They really are blessed. One person can choose to pad the entire church. One person can pad it and finish it. Rug everywhere. It's just that they've not thought of it. Because excellence is a spirit. You want to get there before you won't do it. You won't do it. You want your business to climb up before your company to get up before you start putting structures. You won't do it. You have to start it now. Now. Yes, now. Put it in place. Start running it like you want to run it when it grows big. And you do that by being directly involved. When you are starting it, don't stand out and start trying to give people instructions and no, you have to be directly involved. Directly. This thing called excellence, it will make people look for you from places. I'm telling you. And you have to be disciplined too. Be committed to it. Be committed to it. I made up my mind again and again. And I've been telling myself again and again. I'm so building myself. I'm not even completely built. I'm building myself. And of course, I think it's a continuous thing for a lifetime. That I don't have to meet someone twice before he desires to listen to me again. That if you hear me once, you should want to hear me again. Before I started going out for invitation, I told myself any ministry, any church I enter once should want to have me back. And I'm working on that now. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. That I shouldn't go there once and then they bless me and say, all right, thank you, Pastor, for coming, and I never hear from them again. No, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I should enter certain places and then they are the one booking and saying, we want it to be a yearly thing. Please, is there a way we can have you once every year? That's how I want it to be. And it happens by how disciplined you are, working on yourself. You have to be. You don't have a choice. Right now is the time. And I've told you again and again, when you are trying to crave for relevance, please don't pity your flesh. Naturally, this is just your house. This thing is just your house. This is not the real you is hardworking. No, the real you inside is hardworking. Really wants to succeed. Really wants to please God. But the outside you is so weak. Is so lazy. You see, and you don't listen to this outside you. Listen to the inner you. Who told you you are a lazy person? Who told you you are a dull person? Who told you you can't make it? It's just because you've not decided yet. Make up your mind. People who are succeeding, do they have two heads? No. Some of us, our heads are bigger than them. Sit down. Sit down. Decide to make it count. Like the son of Dr. Paul in Int'l. I have just one life to live. You don't have to. One. Research an average Nigerian, and of course, right now, not even just Nigeria, Americans too, Europeans too. An average man lives for 70 years, 3 months. Think about it. And an average woman lives for 73 years, 6 months. And then they are good to go. Because of the stress of life. The vicissitude of life is, the demand is so much that men don't even live long like women. 70 years, the guy is ready to go. Why? The stress. For ladies, 73 years, the woman is really willing to go now. That's how short a time you have. You're already 30. It means you have 30 more years of strength, 10 years to rest and plan to exit. And see the way you are still pitying yourself. When it has to do with studying, you don't study. When it has to do with listening message, you think we are trying to force you to listen to our message. We are trying to help you. Somebody tell you to go online and then browse the material that blesses you. No, you will chat for 4 hours. WhatsApp. You will chat for 3. You have a problem. Then later you sit and you are waiting for a man that will come and marry you, or a lady that will come and say yes to you, and you don't look like a serious person. Let me even add this a little. See, I started by starting small. Ladies, don't wait for a man to come and marry you to give you money. Forget that thing. Forget it. Forget it. This is the time that a lot of our ladies that are doing exceptionally well in, as it has to do with finances, doing little things here and there. Ensure you start doing something. No man too in this age want to marry a liability. No, he's the one taking care of you, taking care of your mother, taking care of your cousin. What kind of life is that? And the guy is just trying to rise. This is the time. Don't wait for no man. No, wait for no man. And if I advance as a lady and I get to a point, men will be scared of me. That man was not for you. He was not for you. If he's scared of you because you have money, it's not for you. Let him go. A more responsible person will come. Ensure you are. See, let marriage come and tap you and call you into it. Not you tapping marriage. Be busy working and building your life. That marriage will come and tap you and say, my dear, I think it's time. Let's go to the altar. Not that you are the one saying, Lord, if you don't bring marriage, I'll backslide. Backslide. Who will miss you? Who will miss you? You are talking as if only you now is. Go now. Lord, if you don't give me a husband in 3 months, I'll backslide. You think you are threatening us? You still like me? If you like, don't like me. Number what now? Number 3, right? Let's just run. These timing guys are not good. They are trying to time us. Strategy for increase. The company's money is not your money. The company's money. Then you are laughing back. Yes, that's how the money went. Because you think it's your money. You can go in there and just carry and buy. The company's money is not your money. The ministry's money is not your money. It's not. I've never been the treasurer of this ministry. Even we were 7 people. 7 people were not even collecting offering. I've never been the treasurer of this ministry. I don't plan to be. I've never known how they start. The money don't come to my house. It will never come to my house. The money have never been, and there are times they bring money maybe for something they are coming to carry to buy a thing. I said, please just carry this one. They'll find a way to get it across to you. It has never been my money and will never be my money. You want to grow a ministry, you want to grow a business. Money is coming in. You know there are things that need to be done, but you now think it's your money. You can carry from there and send to your village people. Carry from there. You are trying to grow the business, but because you are the CEO or you are the owner of the business, you can carry on. Come, what did you say you want? You are talking to your younger sister now. You say you want what? How much? 3,000. Yeah, go to. Really? And there is something that money was meant for in the company or in the. You, what did you say you want? Oh yeah, you are now feeling like you've arrived. Later you now check you are in deficit, and you wonder how did you get here? It's not your money. If at all you want to grow that company, see what you do. Create a system that pays you to. See yourself as a worker in that company. Yeah. Sure, you have people working with you. How much do you pay them? Let's say 20, 25, 15. You as the CEO, tell yourself, I pay myself 40. You know what's coming in, and you can comfortably pay yourself and then save for the business. The money is not your money. It's the company's money. And you have plans to grow it to become a multi-millionaire company. You don't keep doing like that with the finances. No, you don't. Because people always think it's their money. You have to be accountable. With time, as the company or the ministry keep growing, you have to even have an accountant that manages the finances, that ensure things are properly done, keeping record. And then related to that, pay your company's tithe. Say amen. Yes. You are a kingdom entrepreneur. You are a kingdom businessman. Don't make it look like pay the tithe of your company. Pay it. You are not a worldly person. You belong to a kingdom. And you plan to rise. You plan to represent God. And He too plans to commit so much into your hand. So pay the tithe of your company. Our income is just 5,000 naira now as a tithe. I mean as our profit. I'm not saying you should pay from the real capital, from the profit. We only get 5,000 naira as our profit. Pay the tithe of it. It's just 500. It won't kill you. I'm teaching you how people in this kingdom rise. I've shared a story with you of a man who prayed for Adeboye in the United States in the 70s. A wealthy man that entered a meeting where Adeboye was. And then the man entered, they were looking for money. I think $350,000 US. They were looking for money to buy some things for that conference. And then the first day they are talking about needing that money and people should just give. And a guy walks in. Nobody is responding to give. A guy walks in. He said, how much is the money they are making noise about? All of you in this church cannot give this money. Then he challenged them. All of you should give your best. I will multiply it. The people became so angry. They said, this arrogant and rude guy, you want to dare us? That's when they started giving. They gathered and gathered and gathered and gathered and gathered, I think $700,000 US. And the guy stood up and said, is that all you can give? He brought out his check, doubled it, wrote the check, and left. While he is going, Adeboye runs after him. He kneels down. He said, please sir, who are you? I'm a young Nigerian pastor. I don't want to be poor. How did you get this money? Who are you? Are you a pastor? He said, no, I'm just a businessman. How did you get here? This money is a big money. And he told him he was worth 1 billion as at that time. That time, 70s. And he told him, I made a vow to God. I was going to be giving him, is it 90%? I be 30% of his tithe. That's why if God can bless him, he's going to be a kingdom financier. And you'll be giving God 30%. And then he brought out everything in his pocket and gave him. He said, please pray for me. The guy is not a pastor. He prayed for him. And said, from now, go. This same anointing for wealth. You have it. Is he not wealthy today? But the secret of that man was that he pays the tithe of his company. You think it doesn't matter. Ask those who are in the secular world what they do. That you don't have a spiritual backing. You only want to make money with your small. Hallelujah. Pay the tithe of your company. And the money is not your money. Treat it like an official money, like a company money. You will be amazed. Then spend within the budget of what you pay yourself with. That's who you are now. That's your level now. As the company keeps growing, you can increase what it pays you. It will come to a point where you know you are too wealthy, you are too rich. Nothing can ever bring it down again. Instead of trying to spend everything and you think it's your money and you have to now struggle back and start again. No, it's not wise. It's not wise. That's why you have to even open an account for the company. Official. Hallelujah. Where are we? Let's just run. So in conclusion on this part, don't be the account manager. Let's just add up a little and then continue. Don't be the account manager. You are the pastor of the church. You are the one that keeps the money. Huh? Or your wife is the treasurer. There are things happening like that. Your wife is the treasurer. You are going home, you see Suya. You say, honey, shall I preach well? Yes, you preach well. Shall there will be meat in the household of God. Then you brand Suya stand and buy 105. Share the money is with you. The pastor came one day, I was telling me, say, Apostle, you know what they are saying? That you are really making money, oh. You are really making money, oh. Change the battery of the other mic and give me my mic back. You are really making money. See the crowd that come for service. And I told him, do you believe it? He said, there is really money now. I said, so you are part of them that believe I'm making money. Am I the treasurer of the ministry? Am I the treasurer? I had to start explaining everything. And I said, I didn't know. I said, now you know. Now you know. Am I the one that keeps the money? I'm applying the principles for myself to get blessed for myself. Because if I was to depend on the ministry to feed me, I'd have died. I would have died. Hallelujah. Alright, attached to this, pay salaries when due. Honor the reward system. If you have 1-2 persons working under you, honor the reward system. Pay when due. You have the money, pay. I won't stay long on this because a lot of us have not yet employed people. Some of us just 1-2-3 persons working with us also. When due, pay. If you are punctual at paying, the day or the month, you don't have to pay maybe because of some things in the company. The people will understand with you. They will know it's not your nature to always hold it. They will know. Hallelujah. Then value your clients and treat them with honor and respect. If you're a pastor, your members, treat them with honor and respect. They should be excited around you. They should be excited around you. That's the most important asset you have. You shout on your customers. You tell them, Madam, if you don't want to buy, just go out of this. Leave this shop. You are trying to bargain a price or something. You say, Madam, I've told you that's fine now. If you are not buying, go. Why are you like that? He said, that's my nature. Or you are a pastor, you can just do and undo. No. Treat people with love and respect. Treat people with love and respect. They are assets. You can have one client that changes your business altogether. Is that it? One, not to one. Only that person patronizing you. Only one. You know, with time, God can bless one person here that can manage the needs of this church. Are you aware? No, that's it. If God bless you like that, you run away, God will catch you. With all my investment, God now lift you, are now a multi, and then you run out. It's possible. God can raise somebody. God can bring one person in. One. His presence alone means the needs of them. His tithe alone. Imagine somebody comes here and is paying tithe every month of 2 million naira. Think about it. Every month. That's the tithe, 2 million naira. This land we want to buy won't be here making noise. The land is just 4 million. This land, 4 million. And we've been here trusting God. We are hoping that by any moment. Think about it. And there is somebody here who God has so blessed. And his tithe is 2 million. Think about it. These are the kind of people we are trusting God to raise in this place. Say amen. And to bring in. Say amen. Yes. So one client. Of course, a member is a client. And a client is a member. One client can turn the business all around. Turn it all around. So it matters. It matters. I've been. Alright, let's not go into that. That's for School of Ministry. Say amen. Buy the form. School of Ministry forms. They'll be out soon. Have a target. This second to the last. My time is up because I want to rush into the next. Have a target for your company. Have a target. How many people you plan to reach? Who and who you plan to reach? What and what and what. Have a target. Have a target. If we enter in my house, I have a target written all around my house. The target we have for this year is 4,000 souls. Both Kefi and Massacre. So if Kefi was on session, we're trusting God to hit 2,000. Massacre to hit 2,000 before December. For the year, not for the year. And it's written all around my house. So I see it every morning. I see it every now and then. I'm praying. I enter to showers. Kabro Shatabaya. 4,000. Skibrandas Kilosha. You see it? There's a target. We are not randomly here. There's a target. I'm standing on the mirror and dressing. I'm seeing it. 4,000. 4,000. 4,000. Very soon we trust God to cross it in Massacre before December. Is it possible? Very possible. When we cross it, next year comes with its own target. Next year now might be 7,000. just for massacre alone. 7,000. Is it possible? Absolutely. How? Watch and see. You see it? There should be even if you don't hit it directly, somewhere around there. They say if you aim the moon and then you fall on the star. There is a popular saying like that. If you don't get one, you get the other. But there should be a target. Financial target, there should be. Clientele, the clientele scheme or whatever. Now, there should be people you want to have as clients, as membership. There should be a target, and that's what you keep pursuing. You keep pursuing it. Hallelujah. As a lady, you can make up your mind before marriage. I want to be independent financially before marriage. Let me not disturb anybody. I want to have it. I think a dear lady was telling me that I want to even build a house for my parents before I get married. And she's already working on it. I mean, seriously working. Let me build a house. Think about it. It's possible. It's just a target. Have it. Have it. I want to do this and do that and do. Write it on paper. Let it not just be on your head. Write it on paper. Write it. Every now and then, check it. Then trust God for strategies. Trust God for grace. Keep pursuing it. Hallelujah. Follow the rules when trying to delegate. That's where I'm ending. What did you touch on this sound? When you make that noise, you reduce the 2,000 something, add it, put it where it was before. Don't joke with me. James. I'm sensitive to sound now, just believe me. I'm still partially a musician. When trying to delegate, there are rules. You don't randomly delegate. The word delegation is giving people assignments or position within your company. There are people who just meet somebody today. You bring the person in because the person was talking nice, or because the person is an old-time friend. You see things like that? Very destructive. Let me even teach you wisdom. Most times, the people that cause you trouble are those who started with you. Some of you will not understand. You understand long time after now. But don't forget this statement. Most times, the people who cause you trouble are those who started with you. Because even when you are trying to grow, they think they always know you. When other structures are coming in place and they cannot access you like before, they start thinking you are becoming something else. Share, we were together. Share, what is he claiming now? Share, people who started with you. There are only few people who are loyal in that kind of class. Very few. Very few. There is a rule for delegation. You don't just delegate people. Number one is competence. And that's not all that there is. You don't just look for a competent person and start saying, okay, I think you are competent. You can. No. This is just number one. Let me finish first. The person must be competent for the job. Not just because he's your uncle or he's your cousin. You now feel the person should be there. Even if you don't know the work, he should be there. No, you are killing the company. You are killing the ministry. You are killing something. There should be a level of competence. The person should be there because he can do the job. He can deliver. You see it? Yeah. Not just because he's a friend. No. He's not complete. He's my friend and I think he will not cheat me with the finances. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Competence. Number two, loyalty. Not just competent. He can be competent but very disloyal. He can be competent but a crook. So don't put a competent crook in that position. There can be a competent crook. Permit me to share, I think the pastor is here, who made somebody a treasurer. They started a ministry together. So he thought he's a friend. Oh yeah, be my treasurer just as we start the ministry. Later he now said, bring the money. The guy said, I thought the money was to be used for end of the year party. Ministry's money. Oh yeah, bring the guy. They had to pursue this guy, I think for months before the money. I don't even know if the money completely came out. Ministry's money or offering and tithe. The guy said, is he supposed to be... At the end of the day, bring the money. We want to use it to sow seed. He said, which kind of seed? Yeah, I was thinking we'll cook food and gather together and eat. Church. It has become tribal meeting. Abi? You know, people are so used to this traditional. What do you call that meeting? This traditional meeting, ba? Abi language. Huh? That kind of village, they do final year, whatever. So we should use offering. They had to beg him for that money. It's called disloyalty. He could be a friend. He could be competent, but he's a crook. Yes. So you want to delegate responsibility. Competence is number one. Then loyalty. Of course, I will prefer an amateur that is loyal than a competent guy that is a crook. I will. Trust me, I can train the loyal guy. Instead of putting somebody I cannot correct. You know that's the danger of having a friend. In this ministry, you can never hold a position when you are becoming too big to be corrected. No. That's why this concept of once a leader, forever a leader, it doesn't exist here. Once a leader, forever a leader. Who told you? If I see that you are becoming so big, I'm even scared of correcting you. I'm scared of teaching you. I'm scared of when I want to correct you, I'm scared in my mind. I'll change you. Because you are becoming bigger than me. Of course. You have a company that is a particular person in your board meeting that don't make you talk freely, and you are the CEO. And you still keep him there. Share the ministry. I mean, the company is about to die. No, that's it. That's what you're telling us. Because anytime you bring, he's the only person that can stand and oppose you and say, I don't really, and he's not even scared of you. There are people like that. They think they are bold. They can shout on anybody, even the person who employed them. He said, "This is my nature. You don't just, I sack you." I'm telling you, I sack you. Something similar happened. I think in the ministers' conference I was teaching, and there was a bishop too who was a guest speaker. I think it's 2 years back in the ministers' conference I was preaching, and the bishop was sharing his story. I think he preached after my session, so he was sharing his story how an elder in the church started challenging him. An elder. He now stopped challenging him in a board meeting. He even brought it inside the church. He is trying to talk in the church. The elder stood up and said, "No." Then he asked him a question. Who made you an elder? If I'm the one that made you an elder today, sure, it's because somebody made you an elder that you have mouth. Who made you an elder? When I heard that, I laughed. I said, that question is correct. Who made you an elder? Who made you a deacon? Who made you this and that and that? There are people like that. They can now grow and become a threat. A threat to everybody. When you are beginning to have people like that in your cabinet or in your board meeting, there is a problem. Find a way to dismiss them. Either from that position or from that board meeting. Find a way of let them go. Because when you will come they will be the one to cause trouble and divide everything and go out. You see, what I'm teaching you now, some of you will find this out in a few years to come. Some of you are already around this area now. You have to just smart up. Integrity. Not just because the person is a friend or a brother or an aunt or a sister. Integrity. Never give people access into the company beyond their level of honor and trust. Never. Either a ministry or a company, never give people access beyond their level of trust and honor, or honor and trust. The person is outrightly displaying a level of dishonor, and you think there's nothing wrong with that. No. Hallelujah. This happens to in our relationship, day-to-day relationships. You have people around you who dishonor the relationship you have with them. They are not loyal to that friendship. They keep causing trouble. But that's the one you call a best friend. That's the problem. These are the conditions. You have to follow these rules when trying to delegate responsibilities. You have to. You have to. There are some friends that are around. They're already causing trouble for you now. You know if God lifts you beyond this level, they will almost kill you. They are not ready to be trusted. Their level of trust, they've not earned it. They have not. And some of us are too soft Very soft. You meet people one day, you just talked once. The next thing, your spirit is just free. No. Even God is scared of human beings. Think about it. God is scared of human beings. And you think you've mastered, you just give in all out. No. I'm sharing these things with you, and I'm not very open because I've heard a lot of things and I've studied a lot of people. An average person that should be trusted in your life, except for somebody who is truly broken, because there's an exception. There are people you can meet once and you could discern by the Spirit, this guy is truly a loyal person. You could discern, but they are very few, very scarce. You can meet them once and something in you just connects, and you know that this guy, he's a very sincere person. Very, very sincere. He's a person of integrity. The word of God has so worked on him. He has a relationship with God, but they are very few, like I said. The ones that are plenty is the one that will take you at least 2-3 years to trust. Yes. 2-3 years to trust. They come around, watch. I've told you, let me even share it again because I've shared this a couple of times. And we've had several scenarios. Apostle, the Lord told me to come and serve in this ministry. I'm apostle this. Think about it. I'm apostle this. And the Lord told me to come and serve. Example now. And I'll say, okay, that's fine. Join prayer department. She is to come and serve. Did God tell you where to serve? The department? Who is to send you there? Share is me. I said, join prayer department. 2 weeks later, I don't see the person. Then he came back again. Apostle, I saw me and you preaching in Canada. I asked him, have you joined the department? Because before Canada, massacre. We have to start here. But the guy don't want. He just wants us to start flying. To where? No ticket. No visa. Canada. And I asked him, have you joined the department? I've not seen him again. This 1 year plus. You see it? He said what? Maraba. Somebody said Maraba. Yeah. Maraba. Yeah. Either Maraba or Massacre. I don't know. Maybe he left now to Maraba. Yeah. But it's so funny. So funny. I don't know what the person expected. Is it that once you just come, Apostle God said I should serve you, and now say, okay, come and sit next to me? Is that what you wanted? Even you wouldn't be scared? No, you just come once, and then I say, oh yeah. Won't you be scared? This thing is happening all around. Similar thing. A young man told me he has not even started a ministry. He just said he did it. The friend met me and said, when are you starting? Me, I want to be your assistant pastor. You are already looking. You are the one carving out the position you want to occupy. This age, it takes discernment. I'm teaching you this. This is wisdom. When you are able to discern that the person is sincere, very fine. I've told you there is an exception. However, study people. Study. Especially those of you who are pastors. What I'm saying now is important. Study people. People don't just come at once. No, study people. It's also not true that the people are loyal because they've been with you since Adam. It's also something very wrong. There's an exception to that. Some people can be with you for so long, and then they now are the one that people know that they have been with you for long. So anything they say about your life is true. They are the ones Satan can use again quickly. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? This is not school of ministry. I'm teaching on. The work in your hands will grow if you do this. Believe me. And this is just the physical aspect. It's not even the ministerial aspect of it. But of course it applies. It applies. Grow in the church. That's the next part. Nobody's going out to sit down. Nobody is going out. Let's just continue from here. Grow. Whether ministry, If you are going out 1 minute, just go and rush. It will prosper, it will grow. It will prosper, it will grow. It will prosper, it will grow. Jesus, just keep praying. Jesus, Jesus, there is something about your name, Master, Savior, Jesus, like the fragrance after the rain. Jesus, 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 let all heavens and earth proclaim. Kings and kingdoms shall all pass away, but there is something lovely about your name. One more time. Jesus, 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 there is something about your name, Master, Savior, Jesus, like the fragrance after the rain. Jesus, 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 and earth proclaim. Kings and kingdoms shall all pass away, but there is something about your name. By wisdom, O God, heaven's gates open up. With understanding, you order the season, creating day and night, turning darkness into light, arranging the stars to your pleasing. By wisdom, O God, heaven's gates open up. With understanding, you order the season, creating day and night, turning darkness into light, arranging the stars to your pleasing. Barakah Adonai Hamevora Lemolen Vaye. Barakah Adonai Hamevora Lemolen Vaye. Lemolen Vaye. Lemolen Vaye. Lemolen Vaye. Can you pray in one way and say, Lord, this last session change my mind, touch my mind. I want to become a representation of heaven. I want to be a representation of heaven. Let me contribute to the advancement of your kingdom. I really want to be a kingdom person, an ambassador. By wisdom, oh God, heaven's gate open up. With understanding, you order the season, creating day and night, turning darkness into light, arranging the stars to your pleasing. Baraka, oh Adonai, Amevora, oh, thank you, Lord. In Jesus' mighty name we worship. Amen. Please, can you be seated? Let's continue. Let's try to wrap up. God bless you. 2 scriptures before we commence the teaching. It's like you get used to 2 scriptures before we commence. Of course, let's always have a background so that we can know what we are doing. If you truly love Jesus, please wave your hands. All right. What I'm about to share now is very simple, but the Lord laid this in my heart to really share. I was thinking this should be for pastors, but the Lord told me no, it's for everybody. I really want you to pay attention. Matthew 16:16. Building the church or growing the church. That should be the word. Let's use growing the church. In case I steal little of your time, worship till you bear with me. In case I steal little, bear with me. And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ. He's responding to the question, who do the people say I am? Everybody kept saying, they were Christians. Some started saying you are Elias, meaning they had idea of this kingdom. Some say you are Jeremiah. Some say one of those prophets. All kinds of things. And they were not wrong. Because they had an idea, they thought what you were saying was actually making sense. He now said, for you, you are the workers of this ministry. You are the people I'm raising, the first fruit. What do you say that the Son of... What do you say I am? Do you truly know me? And look at what Jesus is saying. Okay, Peter answered, and look at what Jesus said. Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood had not revealed this unto thee, but my Father which art in heaven, or which is in heaven. 18. I say unto thee, thou art Peter. Everybody continue. Want to read? And upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will build my church. I will build my church, and the gates of hell. The gates of hell there is not Satan necessarily. The gates of hell there can be a person. That's the first thing I want you to note. Because most time when we read that place, we think it's really the devil and his cohorts trying to fight the body of Christ. The gates of hell there can be a human being. That anybody that attempts to pull down the body, to tear the body of Christ, he falls under this category. Even if he's a pastor, he falls here. Believe what I'm teaching you. And I really want you to respect what you're about to hear now. The gate of hell can be anybody. The gate of hell is not just Satan. It can be a person. As soon as somebody rises up and tries to form or build a formation against the body, even if he's part of that body and he tries to tear down that body, he falls under this category. The gates of hell. And let's continue our teaching. Our place where we read before, 1 Corinthians 3:9. We will take just the first line again and everybody will read it. Are we there, media? 1 Corinthians 3:9. You are going to personify it. For I am a laborer together with God. Everybody want to go. One more time. One more time. I am a laborer together with God. What are we building together in synergy? The church. The church. Of course, he said, I will build my church. But eventually he will look for men. Right? He will find men to build a church with them. That's why he told Peter, you are Peter, the son of this and that and that and that. And on you I will build. He was talking about partnership. I'm the one building it, but I will still need men. And now Paul is saying we are co-laborers. We work together with God in building something. We work together with God in building something. When you come to the church, you will see the arsenals God is trying to use to build his church. Hebrews 12. The people involved in building the church. He's not just building the church casually. There are people, there are materials, there are strategies he's using. Hebrews 12:22. But ye are come to Mount Zion, a type of the church again, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and unto an innumerable company of angels. When you see angelic company is one of the forces that comes in play when he starts building his church. He's describing the church. He calls it so many names: Mount Zion, the city of the living God. He calls it Jerusalem. And then he's now trying to explain the people who are involved. When you come into a church, these are the things you find: innumerable company of angels. There is a formation. Let's run through. The general assembly of the church of the firstborn. This is you now. You are also part of it. That which is written in heaven. And unto God the judge. Even God is part of it. And the spirit of judgment. Even people who have died. Paul the apostle is part of the formation. Peter, Elijah, they are gone, but they are still part of this. These are the factors involved, the people involved, the arsenals involved in building this. Is that all? Let's have one more verse. And to Jesus, he's also the mediator of the new covenant. And to the blood, even the blood of Jesus. You see why the gate of hell cannot prevail? These are the formation. So the gate of hell cannot. It's too grounded, too built together, too fortified for a man, even for the devil. Even the blood of Jesus that speaketh better things than the blood of any man is also part of the formation. This is why no man born of a woman can kill the body of Christ. I'm telling you. Forget about the persecution and all the things you are seeing. Let them carry the entirety of ISIS and Boko Haram and put in Nigeria, including all the terrorist group. The body of Christ still survives. I'm telling you this. Leave just one Christian on earth. One, not two, one. Keep one Christian on earth. The gospel will start spreading again. Yes. I'm telling you, it will never die. Never die. That's why he spoke with audacity. I'm building my church, and the gates of hell cannot prevail. Cannot. God has an agenda, and he's in partnership with men. But there is a problem with the nature of man. Man is selfish and greedy by nature. An untransformed man, a man that has not been transformed by the word of God, real transformation, whether a pastor, whether a bishop, whether a leader, is selfish by nature. And please don't try to just find out what I'm trying to say. Listen carefully and pay attention, and trust God to really understand what I'm saying. God has an agenda, and he's in partnership with us. But man is selfish. The party he's trying to use in building, in achieving his agenda is selfish. And God's love is generous and selfless. So imagine these two coming together. A loving, selfless and generous God coming in contact with man that is selfish and greedy. He will have to work on a man to a level he can trust man. Because it's like he's working with man and then trying to use the man to achieve, but he's still scared. He's still scared. Because this man has a nature. So transformation must happen to him. Otherwise, there is a problem. This is why you can see a man of God at a height doing all kinds of things. Like the question Jude asked me that 16 years old boy, I been 15 years old boy, in that workers meeting on Monday. Why I am a small boy, I go online and I see the way even men of God are fighting themselves. Even people who are supposed to be great men of God. A man of God is standing up and talking for the body. Somebody from somewhere start attacking him. Is it that God did not train them well? Why are they doing this to the body of Christ? This is a 15-year-old boy asking. Is it that God released them and lifted them before time? Why are they doing this to the body of Christ? This is a small boy thinking smartly. Some adults have never thought of it like this. They are 20 years in church. They are just Christians. They don't even understand the kingdom. Believe what I'm telling you. That question, I've been thinking on that question till I was preparing this teaching I'm about to do. I'm already teaching. You will be surprised certain pastors have never thought of it. If they have the opportunity themselves, that are men of God, they want to lambast and criticize and tear down. If possible, destroy their ministry if they can. Really? Let me not be faster than my shadow. Man got this nature from God. He was not like that. He was not created selfish. He was not created greedy. He was not created with this ambitious spirit to take everything off his way and then become everything he wants to be. He came with the fall. And that's why it takes, number one, salvation. Number two, transformation of the mind to drop this nature. Otherwise, forget it. You can be in church for 20 years. If your mind is truly not transformed by the word of God, you are not free from this thing. You will only sit there and wait for an opportunity. When the opportunity comes like a monster, that nature will rise in you and never think of anything. It will start destroying whatever it is that is the agenda of God. This nature is very terrible. This is the most important part of this entire meeting today. And I really want you to pay attention. Are you already getting blessed? You have to. You have to. Because your spirit is resonating with what I'm saying. Your spirit know what I'm saying now is true. It's like we are missing this thing somewhere. And if we don't teach this, I thought it was just for me and maybe a few pastors that really want to grow. But the Lord asked me to teach this. I now realize what Jesus said in Matthew, that the end will not come until this gospel of the kingdom is preached. The last sign that will precede the coming of Jesus is not war. They've been fighting from when he was around. It's not fighting. It's not troubles here and there like we see in Matthew 24. The real sign is that the gospel of the kingdom will be preached. Then the end shall come. That's what Jesus said. And this is the gospel of the kingdom. Believe what I'm teaching you. So when man fell, let me run through a little the scriptures. God had to find a way to restore man. He did that by sending Jesus. It was a very painful sacrifice. And God was so passionate about getting man back. Then he now called out a man called Abraham. It was his father that was supposed to be used, because his father left his father's land. He was supposed to be the one, Terah or something. I think that's around his name. But then he was still attached to some idols, but God separated him. So he could not, and God now looked for Abraham. Hijacked Abraham. God is starting a journey. I want to redeem man because there is an agenda. God loved man so much because man carries part of his nature. That's why if you listen to Apostle Selma, he said something that technically speaking, and of course it's true, I think you make that statement today. Somehow, Satan is still the son of God. And it's true. It's true. Why? When he appeared with the sons of God before God, he was not sent out. Is that true? He was not sent out. Why? He still had the nature. Somehow, a part of God is in him. It's true too about humanity. That even when man fell, he still had the nature of God. Likeness of God. Nature. This is why God became passionate about man. So he calls out Abraham and he started a journey. The journey is to an end. I want to redeem man back to me because I love man too much. He carries my nature. I won't allow him go like that. So he starts the journey. Even when men were stubborn in the wilderness, offended him 10 times, at some point he told Moses, I want to destroy these guys. Moses said no. So God truly didn't want to destroy them because he had something he was pursuing. That's why as soon as Moses said please don't do that, he agreed. If truly he wanted to destroy man, he would have done it. He agreed. Why? He loved man. Then the journey continued down to his son Isaac, now Jacob. Let me talk to us briefly about the sons of Jacob. Now the sons of Jacob betrayed their brother and sent him to all kinds of into a kind of life that is not supposed to be appealing. And then with everything Joseph went through, remember, if you were Joseph, you would have killed your brethren. Is that true? No, let's be very sincere. This is no point to try to pretend about anything. Even if I was the one with everything I went through, I would have seen them in Egypt and said, all right, carry this guy somewhere, kill all of them, or starve them first. If possible, kill them. They threw me into the pit. What if I died there? They brought me to Potiphar's house. What if Potiphar decided to kill me? What if I had died in the prison? Joseph preserved the seed of salvation. If you were the one God decided to use, would you have done so? Or you would have killed your brethren? Would you have teared down the body of Christ? Because that was the type of the body. I'm teaching, and I really want you to understand me. Lord, please help us. That was a type of the body. 12 people in the church. When Jesus came to start out his church, how many people did he find? 12 is a church. Is a number of the government of the church upon the earth. So these are 12 people, a picture of the church. Joseph would have decided to end the plans of God and end it once and for all. So God will have to go back and start looking for somebody else to start using. It would have delayed our salvation. Maybe we wouldn't have been here right now. We wouldn't have been here. But Joseph, a kingdom person, understood that it was beyond him as a person. It was about the kingdom. If I kill these people, what do I gain? If I destroy them, what do I gain? This is beyond me. I'm just a part of the whole equation, and I'm supposed to hand over the baton to the next generation. I won't kill what God is doing because of my personal ambition, selfishness, greed, and maybe the pain I have with who offended me. Begin to relate this to our present life as I'm teaching. Don't be seeing Joseph, be seeing your life now. So he had to forget about, it's not about me, it's not about a name, it's not about how I feel. No, it's not about how I feel. It's about the kingdom. This purpose of the Father will have to be fulfilled. Adam fell. God is trying to find a way to get us back. So me alone cannot be the reason why this thing is destroyed. So I drop how I feel. I drop my hunger. I drop the hurt and the pain. Let's continue. Also, people went through hell. The next I will talk about is Joseph again, the wife, the husband of Mary. It was a tradition in Israel that if a woman that is espoused, you paid everything on her, now gets pregnant for another man, they will stone her to death. She will have to die. It was an abomination. It was a law. Now Mary is pregnant, and Joseph will have to admit he's the one, even if he didn't do anything, just to preserve a seed. An angel appeared to him and told him, because he had made, the Bible says he had made up his mind to privately put her away. Whatever will happen, let it happen. If they like, let them kill her. And remember, if Mary died, Jesus is in the womb. So you will have to take. I'm trying to point something to you. Hope you are following. So it's not about whether I did it or not. It's not about me. It's about a generation. So quietly, they had to decide. Although I didn't do it, they will accuse me, but no problem. I choose to take the shame. It's not about trying to defend myself. I have what it takes to defend myself. I truly did not. We can prove virginity somehow. But for the sake of this cause, there is a destiny in the womb, and it is the salvation of the world. Only me, Joseph, will not scatter this thing. I wonder why it was always Joseph. Only me will not stand and destroy this plan God has. So whatever it will cost, let me take the shame. So he takes this woman pregnant. He has not done anything, and he has to believe by faith that it is God. If you were the one, you would have put off the lady and tell her, I'm not doing it again. Forget about it. That angel that appeared, who knows if it's truly an angel? Later, the same angel appears and says, carry the child and run away because Pharaoh wants to kill. Joseph now is about to live somewhere he has been for years. It's like leaving everything behind. Your house, your investment. Remember, he was a businessman with a shop. He used to leave everything and enter Egypt, where he knows nobody, to be there. If possible, start life afresh and starve his wife and child. Forget all his investment only on account of something he knows nothing about. If I were the one, I would argue with the angel, I'm going nowhere. Imagine leaving family worship and then you are telling me to go to Lagos and start what? Or go to Canada, outside the nation, start what? Where am I going? I won't go anywhere. Lord, what's this? Because of this child, I didn't even do anything on the child. And remember, the angel said, because Pharaoh, or Herod now, is attempting to kill the child, the angel will not say that if there was no possibility of Jesus dying. We don't have time, we have gone through scriptures, I'm trying to rush. But for the angel to make that statement, it means truly Jesus would have died. He would have died. He would have been killed. The angel said, better run. Otherwise, this child is going to be dead. And if this child dies, there is a problem. Everything God had been doing from Abraham will be destroyed after 2,000 years. Because it was 2,000 years from Abraham to the coming of Jesus. It took God 400 years to plan the coming of Jesus. Because between Malachi and Matthew, it was 400 years of silence and planning. God is quiet. He's not talking to any man for 400 years. He's trying to find a plan. How do I do this? Who do I find? It took him 400 years to plan that. And finally, here is Mary. And Joseph was in position to destroy everything and scatter it. It was in his power. Just like tomorrow it might be in your power to choose to destroy anybody's ministry because of whatever you think somebody has done to you. It could be in your power tomorrow to choose to tear down a friend. It could be in your power tomorrow to choose to accuse a friend or do whatever it is in your power, and you won't even mind because of how you feel. But how about the Father's agenda? How about the Father's agenda? You can choose to scatter that department and leave. Very fine. We will stress up again together to build it. But the question is, how about the Father's agenda? Do you truly love the Father? It means if you were Joseph, you would have allowed Jesus die. The next is still Joseph. Now Jesus is buried or is dead on the cross. And there is a prophecy, he has to be buried on a virgin tomb. And nobody that followed Jesus had the money to purchase a virgin tomb. Nobody. All of them were broke guys. None of them had a virgin tomb. The only one that had a virgin tomb again was a man by name Joseph of Arimathea. He had to go with his influence again before. Whether he will be killed by the angry king, nobody knew. Whether Satan will instigate something against him, he didn't care. He goes again before the king and says, give me the body of Jesus, please. I'm pleading. I have a virgin tongue. He was not even, he had to do this. And then he came on time so that the legs of Jesus will not be broken, because it was still part of prophecy that none of his bone will be broken. He had to do that on a timing. Then took Jesus. Put him on. What if he has decided not to give his tomb? You think it would have been easy for God to find another person? Is that what you think? When everybody that loved him is now shouting, crucify him, who do you think he would have found? So when God lifts you tomorrow and you are the one with the resources, will you close your eyes and see the gospel suffer? You should be relating this to your life. Oh, this is what I'm teaching. I told you I was not supposed to teach this. Now God have helped you and lifted you. Will you close your eyes and pretend you are not seeing the need in the body of Christ? We are about to go for a crusade. You are a multi-millionaire, now a billionaire. Will you close your eyes and say, I don't care? Remember, so many people had to pay with their blood to get this salvation to you. So Joseph of Arimathea, again Joseph, I wonder why Joseph had to find a way to ensure prophecy is fulfilled. And then the many people who died just to pass this gospel to us. First with the apostles, there was a time Peter was running away. Peter was about to, do you know Peter ran away? Peter is about to be killed during the first church. Peter ran away. Jesus had to appear to him. Peter, you are running away from me. Where are you running to? Peter had to go back, offered himself to the people, and then told them, don't crucify me like you did to my master. Crucify me upside down, for I'm not qualified to be crucified the right way. He was running. It might not be in your Bible. I'm teaching you Bible history. He ran away. Jesus appeared and said, you are running, Peter. Haba, didn't you see me? You touched me. You know this thing is true. Peter had to make up his mind to go back. Crucify me. And don't do it like you did to my master. Do it upside. I'm trying to show you the sacrifices people went through to pass this gospel to us. So Peter is killed. James is speared with a knife. Andrew is crucified too. A lot of them were crucified all kinds of ways. Peter is crucified. John is kept in the red oil to die. Red oil. Boiled. He should die. He refused dying. They tied stones to John and threw him from the mountaintop to fall to the ground and die. The guy still refused to die. They tied him to a donkey, a horse, to run with him on gravels and stones. And he did that to a man. He still refused to die with the bruises, I believe. They now said, let's send this guy to the island of Patmos to die. They took John and kept him in an island called Patmos alone to die. There was no man to feed him. There was no man to console him. No man to mend his wounds. He was there again. God will not allow him rest. That's when he started writing the book of Revelation. You see the work again? He will want to write certain things out of whatever, and the angel will say, hold your peace for this one. No, don't write it. Still humble to go through the process. What if he had not agreed to stay in the island of Patmos? What if out of frustration, like many of us would do, he decided to drink sniper? Because many of us think we are suffering now. You think life is too hot, I can't bear it again. And you can even contemplate suicide. What if John had decided to drink sniper? Sure, we wouldn't have had the book of Revelation. Or the 3 epistles of John. 1 John 1, 2, 3, and then Revelation. Dearly beloved children. A man that is bruised is still calling you beloved children. After the first age of Acts of the Apostle, the church in Acts, here comes a season of trial for the church, where so many kings, emperors came killing people. They will burn a man alive for the sake of the gospel. John Hus, all of these great men. A man is tied to the fire. There are woos all around with whatever it is they call fuel. They will tell the man, the last time, is Jesus still Lord or is not Lord? This thing you've been preaching around, you just say yes or no, or else you set fire. And the guy will look at the people and say, the gospel I preached was not a lie. Kill me. And they will set fire. He is burning. Brothers and sisters, fire. The guy is burning and crying. All for the sake of the gospel. For it to get to us. That was the plan. To get to us. A lot of them got... They use some of them for sports. Sports. What do I mean? They have a place they keep lions. It was like a stadium. They will gather Christians who refuse to deny Christ and push them in there and release the lions in the stadium. And then they will sit on the pavilion of the stadium and they will watch to see how the lion eats up the Christians. And they will be laughing. It was sport. They called it sport. They laughed for killing believers who did everything within their power to give the gospel to us. A lot of them lost families. A lot of them lost touch with children. A lot of them lost touch with parents. You, what have you lost for the gospel? What exactly? The book of Hebrews 11. You, what exactly have you lost for the sake of the gospel? It was not just Jesus that died. It's not just Jesus that is been dead for a while now because of the gospel. A lot of people have died. 11:35 Hebrews. Media, just be fast. Help us. A lot of people lost touch with families. A lot lost touch with their finances, with their businesses, just for the sake of this gospel. What are you doing with it? Watch this. Women receive their dead raised to life again. That's my place of interest. What's the next verse? And others were tortured. Meaning women were tortured for the sake of this God. For it to get to you. He said women were tortured. Not accepting deliverance, but men. Even when there was a route for escape, they decided we will not escape. Let's just suffer this for the gospel. If you were the one and there is a route for escape, won't you escape? The Bible said they had the way of they would have escaped this torture, but they knew it was for the gospel. They had to go through it, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Next verse. And others had trial of cruel mocking. Have you ever been mocked by men to a point of crying? Your family sit down and say, you and your church, share you are serving the church and serving pastor. Let's see how they feed you. They mock you until you are crying. You are not the first. Hold your peace. I'm showing you those who went through it. Cruel mocking. Scourging. Have you been flogged for the gospel? Who flogged you? We live in a generation that want it, and we are almost destroying the gospel that people use pains to communicate to us. Scourging. Moreover, of bounds and imprisonment. Some of them were chained, imprisoned, and their prison were not like our own. Their prison had fetters of iron. So you will put your hands like this in iron, they will lock them up. You will put your neck, there will be an iron locking your neck. So you are like this. There is an iron in between your neck and your hand. The Bible called them fetters of iron. That's how their prisons were. You don't have the leverage to walk around the prison room. No, you were in fetters. You can't even move. This is what these guys went through. They were stunned. Just to get the gospel to us, all of this keyboard you are playing, this thing I'm preaching, all of this drum we used to play, I'm telling you what people did to get it to us. Better be seeing the reality of what I'm teaching. It's not something far, because I was soon connected now. They were stunned. They were sawn in asunder. Do you know what that means? Using a knife to tear somebody from head down, or using a saw. You know, so that these carpenters use, people were sawn like that down for the sake of the gospel. We are tempted. You think you are the first that have been tempted? We are slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskin and goatskin, no clothes safe. You have clothes wearing. Your own complaint is that you don't have a suit. Welcome. Share a suit that it takes to preach the gospel. People had goatskin. They wore it and went. Apostle Paul were not in that generation. Then hold your peace and manage what you have. Am I teaching that people should not look nice? They should. I teach on that. But hold your peace. We have paid attention to things that don't matter. Meanwhile, we are keeping aside things that really matters. Being destitute. Have you come to a point where you didn't have where to stay? Was it for your sake or for the gospel? Afflicted, tormented, all for the gospel's sake. All for the gospel. Next verse. Of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in desert. No water. Some of them died there. There is a hill here called a gun hill, Agbo Hill, where some of you have gone to even pray. White men were killed there, that the people in a gun thought they were monkeys. Killed them. They came with gospel. They were killed there. That's why people prayed there. That's why they prayed there. They were killed there. You know how many missionaries died in Nigeria, died in African countries because of the gospel. If you were the one, would you have gone? Knowing that malaria was waiting for you to kill you, would you have gone? Sure, they were the colonial masters that came and used the Bible to, at least they passed the gospel to us. Otherwise, all of us would have been doomed. They wandered in desert and in mountains, in dens and in caves. Only God knows the animals they came in contact with: snakes, vipers, pythons, all kinds of things. Please just run quickly, thank you. And all this, having obtained a good report through faith, receive not the promise. Imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine this. That the things they wanted to have, the fame, the influence, the large crowd in the church, they still didn't get it. But they were contented because of a good report. That they did this thing because of the kingdom, because of Christ. They were okay. Nobody heard of it. They were okay. Nobody wrote their name in the Bible. They were okay. They didn't do it for fame. They didn't obtain the promise. But they were satisfied for just the report of faith. 2 Corinthians 11:23. Lord help us. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more in labors, more abundant. What's this? Paul is saying, I labored so much. In stripes above measure. I was flogged beyond every apostle. You are didn't flogged yet? I remember a young girl here, I think she's just 19, whose parents used to beat her after every family worship service. She told me that she said, Daddy, they better kill me. I won't stop coming because I have to find a way to help them. They are doing this out of ignorance. So every day she comes for service, she knows they are going to beat her. No problem. She come and stay. After the meeting, she goes back home and just lie down for them to flog. And she told me, I will not stop. If you were the one doing that for the gospel, sure you will stop. See it. Above measure, beating, in prison, more frequent than anybody. I was in prison. Right now, if you hear that apostle is in police station or he's locked up, the first thing you will say, hey, so what did the apostle do? Let's hear now. We've been suspecting him. If for the sake of the gospel, I will go again and again and again. And I mean it. In death, often. How many of you know Paul died? Not just once. I will soon show you the scripture. Paul died. He died. The Bible said the people that stoned him knew he was there. They dragged him out of the city. It was the apostles that surrounded him and said, you are not done yet. Oh God, bring him back to life. Imagine somebody being stoned to a point of death. He truly was dead. Even if you come back to life, sure you'll be bruised. There will be bruises and pain. All for the sake of the gospel, to get it to us. Of the Jews, five times receive I 40 stripes, save one. 39 lashes. 39 lashes for the sake of the gospel. Right now, I stand here and rebuke somebody. The next thing the person gets angry and walk out of the church and say, me? I'm the one making that department work. Let me leave and see how it works. Really? Really? People were flogged and they remain for the sake of the gospel. Somebody will... You see the way carnality have entered the church right now? That nobody wants to go through any embarrassment, pain or whatever. All we do is to find a way to get comforted. If it's not doing us well, we are not interested. Better begin to see yourself in this teaching. If you are thinking of somebody else to listen to, you have a problem. Because there are some of you like that. As I'm preaching now, you are thinking of somebody else. You are saying, how I wish this person was here to hear this. You have a bigger problem, as I'm telling you right now. So better keep calm and listen to what I'm saying. Beaten 40 times. Thrice was I beaten with rod. Rod of iron. 3 times I was beaten with rod. He has finished talking about the stripes of Jews. And you know the way Jewish koboko look like? Their cane? It had either bottles or hooks at the end. So when they beat you, it tears a part of your flesh. That's how they beat Jesus. If they give you one, as they are lifting the whip, it tears your flesh. That's the Jewish whip. He has talked about that on 39 stripes. Now he's talking about being beaten with iron rod. Only God knows. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. The only one we know is when he was going to Rome. That's the only one in your Bible. He's now giving you account that was not the only time. Oh, there were 2 other times I almost died in the ship. The ship scattered. It was God's intervention. All on account of sailing around with the gospel. Now we want to enter aircraft. Abi? Somebody entered the ship and is scattered in the river. If you didn't know how to swim, only God knows if you knew how to swim. Maybe it was like me that don't float on water. You see it? But he had to risk his life. A night and a day I have been in the deep. You watch this? It's in the water for 1 night. Run through media. We are reading through 33. Journeying often. So you see people journey all around. Personally, I'm not a fan of traveling. I don't like traveling. Each time I'm traveling around for ministration, for me, I think it's a big sacrifice on my part. I'm not a fan of traveling at all. I don't like it. Paul said, I'm sure he too was not a fan of traveling. And he said, I journeyed often from Ephesus. And they didn't have cars. He will have to trek some of those places. Now, every man of God thinks he must have a car to prove that he's doing well. Just starting out, you must find a way. To a point right now, some pastors can go and say, you have a car. Give me your car for 2 weeks. It has to be with me. Thus says the Lord. It's happening right now. Where a pastor can seize the car of members and hold for 2 months just for his personal pride. Paul, the greatest of all apostles, is saying, I had to journey in perils of water, nothing to drink, perils of robbers. Have you been robbed before for the sake of the gospel? Right now we can use power to say, no, I'm robber will come into my house. Some of them can come. Paul said, with all my anointing, I was more anointed than what you can imagine. But there were times robbers came. I was in peril of robbers. Peril of my own countrymen. They didn't like me. They criticized me. They were people of same tribe. In peril of the hidden. Those who are not born again too. In perils in the city. In perils in the wilderness. In perils in the seas. In perils among false brethren who claimed they were also Christians. So I will enter a place and they will look at me and begin to tear me down. Sure, you are the greatest of all apostles. The way your influence is going like this will ensure we bring you down. False brethren who didn't see the gospel. All they saw was a name for themselves. There are people like that right now. They go on social media and look for a man of God who is impacting life, and his influence is everywhere. And the best way, because of envy and all, is to bring him down. And they know what they are doing is wrong, but they have to do it for whatever reason. They constitute the gate of hell. They are not even pastors yet. They are part of it. In weariness, have you been tired? And painfulness. In watching often, praying. In hunger and in thirst. Have you been hungry before? Have you been thirsty before? You know, these days is Indomie Christianity. All of these things will not be shown. You think a little stress on you means your faith is not working. Welcome. Let me teach you something. And we'll continue on Sunday. In fasting, often we live in a generation where grace cover. We no longer fast. This guy is saying, I fasted to get the gospel to you. In cold and nakedness. Paul Apostle, the one that wrote 1/3 of the scripture. You mean nobody saw clothes into your life? There was a time you didn't have a blanket. There was a time you didn't have bed sheet. There was a time you didn't have clothes to wear. He's telling you now, yes. I wrote 1/3 of the Bible, but these are the things I went through. Now we that are only explaining the Bible don't want to go through half. You see it? 33. Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the church. I have to. Personally, I think I can relate to this just a little, because I know what it means to pastor a church. I know. Imagine the thousands of people around. And there are people till now, when they send me text and I don't reply immediately, they are angry. Apostle, I'm not happy with you. Really? And of course, I have to drink it for the gospel. I have to. Do I have a choice? I don't even have a need of explaining myself. Who is weak? And I'm not weak. Who is offended? And I burn not. If I must need glory, I will glory of all the things which concern my infirmity. 33, let's read through. O God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which is blessed forevermore, knowing that I lie not. He's telling us this and saying, I'm not lying. In Damascus, the governor under Aretas, the king, kept the city of the Damascene and was with a garrison desirous to apprehend me. The king of a nation, of a city, is forming formation of military men guarding the church or whatever it is. And through a window in a basket, I was let down in the wall and I escaped his hand. Just to get the gospel to us. All of this, just to get the... Are you really understand what I'm teaching? Then try to compare it to our generation and see the great gap between what we call Christianity, what we call church, and what these guys went through. I'm sure some of them will be looking down from heaven and saying, my God, why are these guys like this? Is this what we died for? Matthias. We were martyred because of this. What is these guys? What are they doing? So they casually go to church and what is even church? The church is God's strategy upon the earth to get people into this kingdom. The church is not a gathering. This building is not a church. Our garden is not even the church. The church is anything that is a strategy of God to get people into the kingdom, or to get Jesus to men, or men to Jesus, whichever way. The gospel. Anything. It can be comedy, provided that comedy will make people get to see the king and his kingdom. Is gospel. And if that comedy does not have a way of revealing Jesus, it's a trash. It will never happen here. I'm telling you. If it's spoken words, it has to be with one goal, to let people see the king and his kingdom. Otherwise, forget the nonsense. If it is singing, if it doesn't have a way of revealing the king and his kingdom, forget it. We don't need it. Even if it's preaching, demonstration of power, if the aim is not letting people see the king and his kingdom, it's nonsense. I say it again, no apology. It's a waste of time. Waste of time. Anything done with the aim of bringing the saints into this kingdom, or bringing people generally into this kingdom, and glorifying the Father, is called the gospel. And the strategy for doing that is the church. And the church is you and me. Is the church. So who is a Christian? A Christian is anyone that has subscribed to the sacrifice of Christ on the cross, period. A Christian. The ones that believe that Jesus came in the flesh and died for our sin. Christian. It qualifies you to be a Christian, not a kingdom person. No. Colossians, of course, from chapter 1:12 tells us that we have been delivered, translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of his dear. Now we are in the kingdom does not mean we are yet living the kingdom life. I'm about to show you that a lot of people don't have the kingdom at heart. They are not kingdom people at all. We can see it from the things they do. So, who is the kingdom person? A kingdom person is anyone who has gone beyond just being a Christian, but is committed to advancing the kingdom at all cost. At all cost. At all cost. No matter what it costs me, that my goal is to see the kingdom of God advance, to see the king lifted high. That's a kingdom person. It's not just a Christian. Not just a Christian. No. You will now realize that there are a lot of Christians but few kingdom people who are committed to seeing that the kingdom of God is advanced at all costs. At all costs. If it is my last, the kingdom must be advanced. If I will have to be embarrassed, the kingdom must be advanced. Let me be accused, the kingdom must be advanced. Real kingdom people. And in summary, a kingdom person is an ambassador. Everybody can be a Christian. Few people are called ambassadors. There are some pastors that are not even ambassadors. I think I was talking to Caleb. I was teaching you something around that. Not every pastor is even an ambassador. No. Imagine a pastor telling you, I'm going to deal with you and destroy your ministry. Think about that. He's fighting another pastor and saying, I will deal with you and destroy your ministry. He doesn't understand the kingdom. Because if only you understand the kingdom, he will know that the people in that ministry are a plus to the kingdom. And the king is passionate about them. So it's not about the pastor. It's about the kingdom and the king. Are you to understand what I'm teaching? You have to, oh God, I pray, may this message travel very far. Very far. Not for name. There are people that must hear this. There are people that don't understand the kingdom. So I can see Dogara growing up in grace. And because I am his spiritual father and I'm the one that raised him, I will do everything to suppress him and ensure he doesn't grow. Unknown to me that God is lifting him so that the kingdom can be advanced, that the harvest is plenteous and the laborers are few. I should be excited because God is lifting him, not become so jealous and try to suppress him. That's what's happening now. It will show you that many pastors are not general overseers. I mean, they are not kingdom, they are only general overseers. One happened recently. The young man started his ministry, and then the pastor looked at him. He said, "Daddy, you are still my father." I said, "Who is your father?" "Sure, you have started. Go and look for your father. We are all general overseers. Sure, you are measuring up with me. We are now equal. You've started. Oh yeah, go." He's not a kingdom person. He's not. He's only a pastor. He's not. Apostles, because no pastor have left you yet. They have left. When they left, I happily released them. Happily released them. For some of them, I had to cry the day I was praying for them to go, because I loved them so much. I didn't want them to go. However, I knew it was time, and that wherever they were an extension of my grace. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing to me, like Paul said, is that the gospel is preached, that the kingdom is advanced. Hope you know the ambassador of Ghana to Nigeria, or high commissioner, whatever they call it, whatever it is, when he comes in here, an ambassador, he doesn't represent himself. No, it's not about him. Nobody cares about him. It's about the nation. And anything he says here, it is believed that the president of Ghana said it. And he don't do anything to represent himself. Everything he does is his mother country. See what we are doing these days. A pastor is seeking fame. He can destroy anybody just for him to get it. The church is a strategy. It's not a gathering. For some of you, you feel you come to family worship to impress me. You can go. Your being here does not add to anything. As in adding to me. No, it's not a personal thing. It's not a personal thing. It's not a personal thing. Personally, I've been wondering, why do I do the things I do? Only God knows how long it took me to prepare for this meeting. 3 sessions. I've been teaching. This is almost the 5th hour. I've been standing here and preaching. It took me long to prepare this message. At some point, I had to leave the message and go around, because, Lord, this thing, do you really want me to teach this? Why must I stress myself like this? I will finish now and go and start preparing for tomorrow. Why? I've been looking at great men of God. Why do they do these things? Dr. Paul Int'l have been preaching in a conference. I was following it. He would preach morning, preach evening, preach morning, preach evening. This guy, he's literally exhausted doing this thing. But somehow there is a strength. And he still comes energized by the Spirit. You think it's just for name? Then somebody will sit there and say, sure, they are making money. So your end, what you see is just money. Are you not seeing the kingdom? I heard a story the other day. Apostle is trying to open a church. See the crowd he has gathered, so he can easily convert it to a church. So you would think what we are doing now is just a personal thing. The way some people talk, you will know that they are not even Christians. Or somehow they are born again. They will make heaven. But they are clueless when it has to do with the kingdom. They don't even know why we come to church. Some of them are Christians by inheritance. They are only Christians because their father was a Christian. And their mother was so they have to be Christian because they were born into it. Otherwise, they don't even know why they are Christians. Let's drive it back home. Why do you play keyboard in church? God's power. That's the question. That's the question. George, why do you usher people in church? That's the question. You are in prayer department or media. Why do you snap? Why is that guy on that camera videoing me? Why are they up there? Why do we do that? Why will they be struggling to fix the sound? Why? No question, why? If it's not about the king and his kingdom, useless. Absolutely useless. So when you stand there and people are coming to church and you are telling them this way, if you are not seeing the king and his kingdom, waste of time. You come to prayer band, you are praying and praying for all of us. If you are not seeing the king and his kingdom, Peter, it's almost not needed. I prepare for hours. I pray just to come and preach. If I'm not seeing the king and his kingdom advance, useless. So worship team come to prepare. Imagine your rehearsal from what time? From 9 down to around 4 p.m. These guys literally go out exhausted. There are times I'm in my house and I'm thinking these guys are still there now, my God. And so you do this For 9 hours rehearsing. To what end? It's a question. To what end? And you are only doing that for a 3-hour service. People died to get this gospel to us. If we are only doing this because we want to go and blow, we are of all men most miserable. 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 I've said it again and again for myself. I'm a very conservative and reserved person. I don't think I wanted fame. Truly. I don't even... Throughout the years I've been visiting or getting some invitations, there were invitations I would say, don't put my poster, just write my name. I don't even like these things. When we were to start going out officially this year, people had to keep calling. The protocols are here. We don't have an official poster picture of apostle. Which picture do we use? I didn't have a picture for poster. There are people, they've not even started the ministry. They have snapped 10 pictures and kept them there. One that is good for poster, and nobody's inviting them yet. They are just there waiting for the time. You see what we are looking after? They don't give you a mic to lead a song in the worship team. You are angry. You are full of flesh. You don't even know why you come to worship team. You don't know. You don't know anything about it. You don't know. Because if only you knew it was about God and not you, you will come and back up happily. Can we keep talking? You have to be kingdom people in this house. You have to be different. You have to be. If you live here and go anywhere, people should see you and know that you are truly the light of the world. Truly. I can go through pain like they stay for the house at 8 hours. People can embarrass you. You refuse to be embarrassed. That's it. It means you understand the kingdom. It's beyond you. Who are you? No, as a person, who are you? Which ego do you have and you are still protecting? Who are you? Think about it. So, because I'm embarrassed in prayer department, I now come and tell Peter, stop embarrassing me like this or something. Or Apostle, the way you preach that message, were you preaching it with me in mind? Who are you? That's the question. Who? This thing I'm doing now is beyond you and your entire family. Oh. There are people who have died to get this thing to us. It's beyond you and your entire family. Beyond me and my entire clan. It's about a generation. It's about a man that came and died. Other people died, were burnt. We are fed to lions. Lions ate them up. For you to have what you call ministry. For you now, ministry is a place of shining. Why do we do church? Why do we gather like this? Why? Some people honestly don't know. 90% of the people that go to church don't know why we gather in church. They don't know. They don't know. They only come. So we are here so that my head of department will not call and say, where was I? I come for my departmental retreat so that they won't think I didn't show up and then they tax me. Forget about your ego. You don't have any in this kingdom. Forget about it. Drop it. You don't have any in this kingdom. This kingdom, you don't have any ego. I knew this about my life since I had to drop it. That's why I told you earlier, I don't get angry. What's my business? What am I protecting? Meet me and slap me at that door, and I mean it. I won't fight you. I was even expecting it. Am I saying we should now become fools and allow everything to just ride on us? No. But that there is a way for the sake of the kingdom. You can choose to forbear. Paul said, if there is anything you know if you eat will affect the faith of another. He didn't say it's a sin. He's only saying you are a kingdom person. And for the sake of that, do you know what it meant for Jesus to die for this guy? So if eating any kind of soup will make this guy fall, I will stop it to ensure his salvation is intact. Because the target is to get as many as possible into heaven. The target is to get them into heaven. The target is not to gather crowd and make a name. So if I have to starve for people to get into the kingdom, I will. If I have to go hungry, I will. If I have to be embarrassed for the kingdom to be advanced, I will. I'm an usher. If somebody will have to insult me for the service to hold, I will. Unfortunately, we live in a generation where we hate embarrassment. We keep saying it. I hate embarrassment. I hate embarrassment. So it's now about you. It's not even the king. It's not the kingdom. You are now bigger than the kingdom. You are part of the gate of hell. You are part. You are part of it. Because what you are protecting now is your ego. It's now bigger than our core agenda. You are embarrassed. Really? It has to be for the king and his kingdom. The agenda is bigger than you. The purpose is bigger than you. If marrying personally has no way of advancing the kingdom, it can go to hell. Absolutely. I've said it to you in one workers meeting back. If marrying will not advance the kingdom, let it be over. Let it be over happily. And I mean it. I mean it. If having children will be a turn to this ministry, let the children not come. I will get married and live my life with my wife and we are done. And I won't put anybody under pressure. If I see you in my house as an in-law coming to say, are you not having, I will send you out and ask you never to come to that house again. I mean it. All of those father-in-laws and uncles that will come and say, this is 2 years now, nothing has happened. I will send you out and warn you never to come again. I will be contented to get married and go to heaven without a child. After all, I have so many spiritual children. They are already okay for me. If at all I need any child in my house, I can adopt anyone to hang around. When he's 18, I send him up. You see it? I've been studying and I want God to truly make me an ambassador of this kingdom. Not an apostle. Not a famous person. Not even a wealthy person. I want to be an ambassador. An ambassador. An ambassador, a representative that is no longer about me. There are pastors, if God told them, tell them to close their church today. Jesus appeared to them in an encounter and said, close your church. I didn't call you to pastor. They will tell Jesus, forget it. Forget it. It's my church. Forget it. I'm not closing anything. And they will remain there. Because for them it's a career. For them it's now a vocation. It's no longer about the kingdom. No, it's not even about the king. He is out of place completely. Why do we do church? Think about it. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sound department, you guys are going to be here what time? 7 a.m. 7 a.m. They will start setting the sound and the overflow sound. To what end? At time they leave here 2 p.m. The hall is open 3:30. They run back to dress and come back. And at times they come back, the sound outside will start misbehaving. And you see them restless around, ensuring media restless, ensuring everywhere. To what end? To what end? If we are not seeing the king, it's useless. You see it? So a pastor gets angry in a ministry like this and say his family worship, I will tear it down. Apostle think he has arrived, I will tear down ministry down. I have what it takes. I know this and that and that and that. Tear it down. We'll clap for you. We'll clap for you. Then when you get to heaven, you answer the king. Because the thousands of people that gathered here and we are prepared for heaven, and you think it's me you are tearing down, but in reality it was the body. It was the body. You see it? Or you are now party to those who criticize men of God. The man must have derailed, but who gave you the right to be the one talking? So what if somebody does something very bad? Are we supposed to be quiet? Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you that claim you are spiritual, kill him, Abi? No. Tear him down and kill his ministry, Abi? Destroy the department and leave, Abi? What did he say? You claim you are spiritual, restore him. Restore such a one in the spirit of what? Meekness. Meekness. Considering yourself. Be careful you yourself, lest you also be a victim of it. That's what he's saying. In other places he says, he that thinketh his son, take heed lest he fall. So you are the saint. The pastor stole church money. You are the one that is the judge. Kingdom person. Am I trying to defend anybody? No. I just told you I don't even have anything to do with ministry's money. A pastor fornicated, you are the one to kill him. Continue. Restore him in love, meekness, and do it with carefulness yourself. Be careful how you fight other churches and fight men of God. Something happened in Acts of the Apostle 14. Paul entered into a city. From verse 6, it can be lengthy reading to verse 19. He entered the city, and then miracles happened through a man that was lying down there. I think that was Lystra or something. The Bible says he saw that he had faith to be healed. And then he told the guy to stand up, and the guy stood up and started walking. And then the people who were the sorcerers of that city went and brought sacrifice to offer to them. They were calling Paul Jupiter, something like that, and calling, I think, Barnabas Mercury or something. Then the Bible tells us that some Jews, they were almost worshiping this guy and lying down, honoring this guy, lying down. Some Jews came. It's like some pastors now. Why are you honoring this guy like this? Forget about him. We know him. This is ministry. This is track record. We know him. This and that and that and that. Immediately, the guys took up stones. Took up stones against the same person they were about worshiping as God. That there are companies you follow. There are people who are gifted in tearing down churches, tearing down the body, tearing down men of God. There was a perception you had about a man of God until that person came. He started telling you, if you come to my house discussing a man of God, I send you out. I send you out. I don't have time for that nonsense. Especially when you now come and it's a father of faith you are discussing. This man of God did this. I will send you out. You will happily leave my house, never to come again. See the reason people leave church. The pastor did not visit me. Am I saying we should not love? We should love. But beyond all of these things, see the kingdom. If you truly understand the kingdom, they don't even visit me in that church. So I'm going to leave. Go to where everybody will come to your house every day. You are now a Muslim convert. There are people like that. You have been converted. You have been in church for 5 years since conversion. It's happening around. There was a guy that kept collecting money from me on account of a Muslim convert every time. Did you convert for us to be paying you salary? If you truly understand the kingdom, you even dare it. 5 years, 6 years as now a Christian, still you go around and a Muslim convert, give me money so that I won't backslide. If you understand the kingdom, in that place they gossip a lot. So me, I'm about leaving. Leave. A proof you don't understand anything about the kingdom. You think church is a community gathering, or it's not a village gathering. And something happened in my village, they didn't even come to greet me. So me, I don't think that church is a good church. Go. These are some of the things that prove that people are not kingdom people at all. They don't even understand the kingdom at all. Of course, apostle is love, not a value in this kingdom. It is. But what happens when you don't receive it? Do you leave the kingdom? No, do you leave the kingdom? Right now, I hear things that really pains my heart. We, a pastor, will sit and say, me, I can tear down that ministry. I can end his career. Ministry has become career. It has become career. Remember, someone died to get this gospel to us. Remember, it was not just Jesus. A lot of our fathers died to get this gospel to us. What are you doing with it? Are you using it as a machinery to rise? Right now, the competition among young people is that who is the happening young preacher now? So you will hear young preachers in town, and all you want to do is to hear their secrets. What did they do? I listened to Apostle Selman's teaching for 12 months. I was praying every day 3 hours. I got to where I am. The guy carries the messages too and enter a retreat. The motivation is wrong. It's not about the kingdom. It's because he wants to become the latest young man preaching in town, invited here and there. Apostle, what's the secret of gathering thousands of young people in a meeting like this? Pray every night, 2 hours. Pray in the morning, 30 minutes. Is that all? Yes. The guy jumps into it. The target is not the kingdom. The target is becoming like. You see it? So we are trying to look for things that makes us rise. It's not about the king again. So even if the king comes to tell you stop fasting and prayer, you say no, I won't stop. I know what I'm looking for. You truly are looking for something, except that you don't get it that way. Those who are in music ministry, you keep releasing singles. Hope is for the kingdom. I also encourage you to, in fact, I wanted to have a time with worship team and encourage you to release some of your songs and bless the people. Already God is lifting you. But if the target is not the king and his kingdom, drop all the songs. Drop all of them. Drop all of them. Because they won't reach anywhere. Drop them. Even if 20,000 people that have downloaded that song, it will still take you anywhere. God have a way of silencing and putting people down. And he can do it perfectly. 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 If he doesn't capture the king and his kingdom, forget it. All the workers in this ministry and those who came from far, they call it to moderate the service and lead opening prayer. What's in your head? What? A privilege of standing before thousands of people and then finding a way to be known? You are to lead a song. Your greatest joy is to ensure this. People didn't respond very well. The song didn't move people and you are angry because they will now not honor you. Is it about you? Really? So it's no longer about the king? So your man of God does something that offends you, and the best thing to do is to leave that church, get out. If possible, go and start up something. And the target is to get him angry or divide that ministry and leave. And you are happy because you are a kingdom builder. You don't understand the kingdom. You don't. You don't. Let me tell you something. If I was not the senior pastor of this ministry, let's assume I'm serving under Gideon, and Gideon does something that really, with the understanding I have about the kingdom, and I'm trying to impart on you. See, even if I will have to leave that ministry, I will find a way to quietly leave. Right now, people want to leave ministry. See what they do. They go and instigate some of their loyalists. That's what's happening right now. This wickedness is happening all around, and I don't care who is doing it. They don't understand the kingdom. They don't know why they are even Christians. They have been a pastor for 20 years. You don't know anything. Keep your mouth shut. If you understand people died to give you the microphone you are holding. They didn't even have microphone. Right now, people fight over spiritual sons and daughters. One dear lady, I think she's here. A pastor called her from Lagos. Where are you? I'm in Abuja. Which church do you attend? Family worship experience. Sorry to just mention this. Who is your spiritual father now in Abuja? Apostle. Which apostle? How old is he? He cannot be your father. We are still your father over here in Lagos. Who is fighting about that? Carry the daughter and go. Carry and go. If you know what's in my head. If you know what's in my head. Who is bragging about spiritual sons and daughters? Let me not have one. I'll be okay. For me, adopting people as sons and daughters is a responsibility. Do you know how often I pray for you? I wake up at night and I'm there crying and telling God that your life should be preserved and you should go far. And then to somebody now, that's the work he's looking for. And they don't even do it. Those who fight about those things, they don't do it at all. It's only the name. Then she now told him, so how do you honor him? Do you sow into his life? Because that's where their mind is going to now. Because if you are truly a soul, you must sow. He said, hey, I don't do it, but once in a while I can give a bottle of wine. You see it now? You see it now? The other one called, where do you pay your tithe? You have to be sending your tithe to me too. You see the things we do right now. People died. People were burnt with fire. In case you don't know, they used them to feed lions for we to get this kingdom, this message. See what we are doing with it. No, see what we are doing with it right now. Who is your father? I must be your father. God told me nonsense, foolishness, childishness. Who is careful about all of these things? Who? When people are busy advancing the kingdom, somebody is busy there, camping around something that doesn't even make sense at all. I'm preaching apostolically. And I pray that this message go as far as possible. Because there are a lot of young people whose wine is already getting mixed up with water. Already. That was the prayer I prayed last night. I don't know why the burden was so strong on me. I prayed last night all through the book of Isaiah. Whoever's wine is being mixed up with water, Lord, let there be a separation. I kept praying. I don't know a lot of them. It was an intercession. And it's one of the proof you love the kingdom. You understand the kingdom. Many pastors can't remember the last time they prayed for the body of Christ, or prayed for Dunamis Church, or prayed for Living Faith. After all, it's not their church. What they keep doing is praying for their own church. You are a selfish person. That church will not grow. You are a very selfish person. It's like you are praying for your venture, your career. They prove you truly love God. You won't relegate that prayer to your church. There are nights you shouldn't even mention your church. Pray for other churches. Ushering department, Stratford crew, decoration. When you are decorating, what's in your mind? Is it the latest decoration that will make people come to church and wow, excellent ministry? How about the king? So we organize a powerful service and organize the king out. We keep him outside. See the way we criticize ourselves. It's a proof we don't understand the kingdom. Be careful how you treat other believers. It's still part of it. If you understand the kingdom, you treat them with love and respect. Whether they don't belong to your church, provided they are believers. Be careful how you fight other churches. They might not be your church. The guy might not be your pastor, but he's still a pastor. He might not be your spiritual father. Right now, in fact, the latest one that is happening now is that people disconnect from their spiritual father. All of a sudden, they become enemies. And then the best thing they now do is that they go around trying to discredit the father that fed them. Imagine that level of wickedness. Gideon is my spiritual son. I fed this boy from when he was very young. How many years back did he walk into this place? 4 years back. How old were you 4 years back? Don't be ashamed. Talk to me. 15 years. 4 years back. He was 15. So from being a teenager, I've groomed him until he got admission. I'm still grooming him. Then later now he becomes a great man of God. The anointing is so evident on him. Then he now turns back. God forbid, of course it won't happen. He now turns back because of maybe something slight that happened between me and him. Maybe I called him and said, son, you don't do this again. I said, no, daddy, don't rebuke me like that. I'm also a spiritual person. Then he walk out. And the best way he thinks he can reward the investment is to now go and say, I've been with him since I was 15. He's not really a man of God. Forget about him. He's this and that and that and that and that. Never forget the hand that fed you. Some of you is not now. This message now is not for the now. Some of you is for years to come. You better be a kingdom person. That's what I'm training you. I'm teaching you this. Where somebody no longer submitting the ministry, and all of a sudden the ministry is now a bad ministry because you are no longer there. Be careful when you know your actions are going to destroy the faith of someone. Yeah. What you say about your head of department is going to discourage somebody in that department. Be careful. It's about the kingdom. It's not about the person. It's about the kingdom. It's not about the department. It's about the kingdom. It's not about the church. When your action is going to affect somebody's faith, be careful. Remember, the picture is bigger than you. The picture is not you. You are too small to be the picture. You are only a little part, a little fragment, a minute part of the entire picture. If you were Joseph, you would have killed your brethren then. Never threaten people. You leave this ministry, you're under a curse. You don't understand the kingdom. You're a selfish person. Very selfish. You are using manipulation to gather people. Never fight for positions. It's about the king. He's the one that lifts people. It's really about impact. Never force people to do what they are not supposed to do. It's about the king. All we do is for souls. Is for harvest. The picture is bigger than us. It's very big. Very big. We are trying all we can to get thousands, millions, billions into this kingdom. That's why Jesus has not come yet. I heard Benny Hinn saying some days back that according to his study of the prophecy, we have 28 years for rapture to happen. Yeah, some of you heard it. Some of you heard it. I said it the other day, you thought I was joking. According to his study of Daniel's prophecy, it's in the Bible. The Bible didn't say we don't know. We only don't know the day. But the season we know. It's in the Bible. He has studied it. We have 28 years left. Except God have mercy to extend the time. 28 years for rapture to happen. And if it is true, that's the prophecy God is going to work with, both from the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel and Ezekiel all around. If it is true that 28 years time rapture is happening, imagine the population of the world that is not yet saved. See the play we are playing around. Who is talking about making a name? We'll go and make the name up there. We'll go and make the name up there. Because the picture is bigger than us. Each time you come to sing, each time you usher people, each time you pray in prayer meeting, each time you are moderating the service, each time you are preaching, see a bigger picture. It's not about you. No, no, no. Pray for souls always. There are people you might not be able to reach and preach to them. Many of them have heard the gospel. Why they have not given their life to Christ is not because they have not heard, but something stronger than them have covered their eyes. The God of this world. Pray. Pray for the salvation of people. It's a true proof you're a kingdom person. Don't be the one to stir up a fight and a quarrel with a fellow believer. No, not even with a pastor. All of this gossiping, some of you will have to stop this. You just have to stop it. You are not being nice. You don't gossip people. No, we are all believers. If you think you have something against me, why not come to tell me? I'm not preaching this because I have a problem with anybody. No, all of you are nice people. I've been nice to all of you, and I think you've been nice to me too. As far as I think I know. It's just what God laid in my heart to teach. I didn't plan to teach this. I'm teaching you to really be kingdom people. If you have a problem with somebody, meet the person. Tell him we are friends. We are believers. You did this, I was not very happy. Why not resolve it? Rapture will soon happen. Where will you be? How about entering into heaven and realizing you didn't do what you were supposed to do? You will still know. I've told you in heaven there is nothing. Nothing is covering anything. We will know. We will know. How about entering and realizing you didn't do 1/3? And the whole reason is because you were driven by flesh, greed, and selfishness. You wanted a name by all means. Things you were supposed to support to grow, you didn't do it. All because you were looking for a name. Let's grow the church. Let's grow the body of Christ. Not tear it down. I remember so many years back, I made a vow to the Lord that I was going to love Him sincerely, and I was going to make up my mind never to use manipulations to get money from anybody. There are pastors right now with this kind of congregation, they have all the money they want. They will raise it almost every now and then. They won't even raise and tell you what they are using it to do. Of course, any seed we raise in this place for something, like we're about to raise one soon. Say amen. One was telling me by now you should have gotten a car. What are you doing? See the plenty of people in your church. Do you know what it means? If you raise a seed of this and that and that and that and that and use it to buy a car, can't you do it? I can do it. But it's needless. It's needless. Having some of you around here, you are more than a car to me. Think about it. Some of you in years to come back, you will buy cars that even you will be crying. What do I want to use this for? Some of you will buy it and bring. I'm telling you. If Jesus tarries, some of you will do it. So for me now, building your lives and investing in you is my greatest asset. Greatest asset. Personally, I would have bought a car already. I think I should have done that with my own money. But there are too many needs around the ministry, around people around here. I made a vow to God never to use any form of manipulations. No. Made a vow to Lord never to sleep with any lady, because that one will not be fair again. It's like eating the flocks God have given you to take care of. You see it? Otherwise, only God knows what I would have done by now. Only God, yes, only God. Imagine the beautiful ladies that are sitting in this place, having 3 or 4 that you rot in. That's happening again in the body. It's happening. It's happening. I made a vow to God, because our vision in this ministry is to preach the kingdom. I know that the truest form of loving you is investing in you, preparing you both for rapture and dominion here on earth. Brothers and sisters, people died to get the gospel to us. What are you doing with it? What? This would have been in a ministers' conference. But the Lord asked me to share with you, because He's raising real kingdom people. Not just pastors, kingdom people. You will be surprised that some of you here have an understanding of this kingdom more than some pastors. More. People are embarrassed when church is not growing. Somehow, it should be, if you are doing what you are doing, and if the motive is right. If the motive is not right, there is no point being embarrassed. There is no point. Do you truly love Jesus? If you love Him, see what He went through. See what saints of old have to go through. See what some of our fathers are going through now. They are being insulted. Insulted every day on social media, you know. And they keep saying the truth and doing this for the kingdom. If you love Jesus, you will do everything within your power. Everything within your power to ensure that this kingdom grows. The church grows. The church, not as in a building or a ministry, the body of Christ. You will do everything within your power. When you have an opportunity to serve, you will see the King and His kingdom. You have an opportunity to preach the King and His kingdom. Can I tell you something before I close? This is the secret of this ministry. It's not prayers. Not only prayer, let me use that word. It's an understanding. Yes, some of you will not understand. This mindset I just shared with you now is everything that is around my mind. That's what surrounds my mind, and it's the major reason behind the increase of this ministry. Simple. It's not just prayer. Go and pray more than me. You won't see it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You know I'm not the best preacher in town. You know I'm not even the most anointed. It's a mindset. And so long as we sustain this mindset, gather all the demons together to pray against this ministry, they are not born yet. I'm telling you, they are not. No demon is yet manufactured in hell. I'm telling you. No devil is yet manufactured in hell that will arise and stop the growth of this. That devil is not born yet. And I say it on this altar. That devil is not born. Let's sustain this mindset. The King, His kingdom. That devil is not born. I tell you. Thy heart is evil, and you can't be a partaker of this. Paul talking to Elymas. Your heart is full of all subtlety, wickedness and craftiness. So you are not a part of this anointing. You can't see this increase. It's a mindset. We're going to pray. Can you just sit calmly? Think about everything I've said. Think about people who are killed just to get this gospel to us. See the things we do around with this thing. We sleep around with people who God has brought for us to build. It means you are not even seeing the kingdom. We manipulate them. We don't even care whether they truly grow or not. You get angry with people that is needless. 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 quietly sit and see where you are defaulting. Lord, we truly want to be kingdom people. As we crave for excellence, we see the King. We see his kingdom. What happened if the Lord does not give you a husband? I still love him. If you won't love him, you are not seeing the kingdom yet. It means you are serving God for what you've been told he can give. What happened if your ministry don't grow? Now we stop this thing. What happened if they keep offending you? I will drop this thing and leave. You are not seeing the kingdom. It's still you that is in the picture. It's not yet God. At all. At all. So there is something you are trying to guard that is still beyond God. It's called your ego. And you are a very proud person. Very proud person. I can go through any level of inconvenience. I'm telling you this. I can go through any level of embarrassment for this kingdom. I can go through any level. I've gone through some already. I've been persecuted. I've been accused. I've been intimidated. I don't think that is something I've not seen yet. Lord, I really want to be a kingdom person. This thing is not about me. It's not about me again. No, Lord, no, no, no. 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 This my mouth. I've been using it the wrong way. Wrong way. I've been talking against people. I've been causing fight and troubles. I tell this guy, this one said this. I just keep causing trouble everywhere. I think I need a help. Lord, this is my mouth. My mouth. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I think it was God's power when we were talking when you came to my house. I was telling you, imagine you enter an aircraft, you are risking your life. Think about it. You are risking your life. Even in the aircraft, I used to be thinking, why am I on this now? Because there is no guarantee, except that we are men of faith and we know how we are going to die. Otherwise, there are men of God who died in plane crash. Think about it. Are you going to say they are not of faith? You just saw now that people were tortured. Dr. Miles Monroe, of blessed memory, a man that was really a kingdom person that impacted the world. Him and his wife and his team going for a conference all died. You will now say it's lack of faith. Abi? So imagine somebody risking his life on air. I used to ask myself, why am I here? No, why are we here? At times we are on the road. See the high speed when we are traveling. Trailers and all of it. And you are on that road. People have died on the accident. And they were pastors too. You are risking your life. I used to ask myself, to what end am I doing this thing? To what end? To what end? I know I won't die there, but to what end? Is it just to make a name? I will sit in my house. What's the honorarium? There are places we go, they don't even give us honorarium. Even at this level. Yeah. And we are not offended. We come back, these my guys will not even know. I will have to take money from my pocket and say, take transport, go home, go and be fine, take care of yourself. Nothing. And no offense. No offense. The kingdom. We went somewhere, it was born Peter, they gave us. I didn't even tell you guys. Think about me, at least at this little level God is bringing. I'll go for a plan and they will package Bonvita and package some chocolate and put in a leather and give us with one Hollandia. No offense. Happily came back home. If it's those drinks, I have too many drinks in my house. If you see my house, it's almost like a store. You can't come to my house and lack what to drink. Plenty drinks. These are not the things that drive me. The question is, why am I doing this? To what end? That I will be sleepless at night. Everybody is now sleeping. I'm just there. To what end? To whom do we do the ministry? Who is the person we direct our ministrations to? To whom? To whom? To what end? Why? You were playing the drum now. Question, to who? To who? We will come and we are dancing praise and... Do you know what I usually think when I'm dancing praise and worship? This one, it was about 4 years back. This issue of dancing praise and worship. And I think I taught it one time in the service in Kefi. When dancing praise and worship, I dance with consciousness. Honestly. To who am I doing this to? Right now, Jesus is no longer the picture. For some of you, when you were coming to church, Jesus was not in your mind. It was when you came here, you heard in Jesus and you said, okay, yes. It's truly because of him. The consciousness is not there. That's why you can misbehave and insult somebody on your way into church before you later realize that all the while you are being a Christian and you were supposed to be a kingdom person. Why do we do the things we do? There is no time because I rushed this message. How about the business you are doing? To whose glory? When you finally make the money, to whose glory? Could it be that the reason you are not making that money is because all you are seeing is yourself? No, could it be that you are seeing yourself and the business for you? Could it be the reason for your limitation? Because the money that will not glorify God is absolutely useless. Useless. And God has no hand in it. So the company should enlarge. Fine. God can give you the strategies. But who is the picture? Who is the picture? You are thinking of your business. And God is saying you are just a steward. Who will commit to you the true riches of the kingdom? Commit to your trust. He's seeing you as a steward. And he's saying, okay, I have plans to expand the business. But you, where is me in this thing? These people have I formed for myself. For a reason. For a reason. That they will get married. Right? That they will grow and become, that they will show forth my praise. My praise. So even your creation was not about you. Think about it. Think about it. Creating you, it was not about you. You were not the plan for your creation. That's why you did not advise that you should be created. You did not. When you were to be created, you were created to come and meet a need. See the way you arrived and forgot it. You were created for a need. You arrived. It was about you now and your pleasure. Lord, a job. Lord, a wife. Lord, a ministry. Lord, you forgot everything. Now it's about you. And God is saying, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Everything that we're supposed to fulfill on earth, you've forgotten. Your quest now is it wrong to make money? No. But that it should be to an end. There should be something you are seeing about that money. It's possible you were created to make that money for something. But right now, the reason for making that money is out of place. You are now seeing yourself. What I'm teaching now, if you want to rise in this kingdom, you must subscribe to this. I'm telling you. Otherwise, you have to go and subscribe to one Babalao somewhere and rise. If you must rise in this kingdom, you have to. If you don't understand it now, you understand later. Keep growing. I'm telling you, keep growing. You will now realize that even in business, you don't rise because you have a shop. There are many shops dying down again. You don't rise because you have a job. There are people who have been working for 35 years, they've never built a house yet. Are there not people like that? No, think about it. We are smart people. If you want to rise in this kingdom, you must understand what I just taught. This message, get it, listen to it not once, not twice, not 3 times. If you are too busy to listen to it and understand it, you will pay with it. You will pay for it with your time. Yes. Because one of the way you pay for ignorance is time. You don't pay for ignorance with money. You pay for it with time. So you will stretch and use your life for experiment. And later on, get the answer in 10 years' time. You use ignorance to... It's time you use to pay for ignorance. Not money. Guys, I love you too much. Believe me, and God bear me witness that I love all of you. I love you too much not to tell you the things I'm telling you now. If in years to come, any of you don't succeed in life or fulfill destiny, I'm telling you when we get to heaven, I think even God, I'm not yet sure yet, but even God will look at me and say, Jonathan, you did your best. And I think I'm doing my best. I think so. Some of you, this is the biggest way of loving you, what I've just taught you now. Some of you might not have understood the message. Get it and listen to it again. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. I will become everything God wants me to be. If only it has a way of giving God glory. I listened to Dr. Paul Int'l yesterday. He said each time his spiritual father calls him, and I started relating it to my life and God, and then my spiritual father. Paul, where are you? He said it depends on where you want me to be. That's usually his answer. Think about it. Paul, where are you going to now? It depends on where you want me to go to. And he said on several occasions he has told him, I want you to be in Lagos. He said, I'm on my way. Whether he was going to preach, whether he was going to see his wife, whether they had an assignment with his wife, they are going somewhere. That's how he turns. Straight to the airport, already on his way to Lagos. That's how we live in this kingdom. When I heard that statement, I related it to God and my spirit. Of course, I've never told my spiritual father anything. Jonathan, see me tomorrow first in the morning. I say, yes, sir, I'm with you. I will be there before the time. But that's supposed to be to God too, first. Because your loyalty is first to God, then to the man he has set over you. Loyalty first is to God. Jonathan, I want you to preach. That's what I will do. Drop the microphone tomorrow with all pleasure. I'm telling you, if I hear God, with all pleasure. With all pleasure. And I won't say the poor. With all pleasure. I'm not doing this because I'm using it to... By now I should have been wealthy. I graduated 4 or 5 years back. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If there is a man that wants to marry you, and you are seeing that marriage will not bring glory to the kingdom, forget it. If you use your selfishness, if you use your emotions, if you use your greed to enter into that marriage and destroy the plan of God for your life, you are a wicked person. I'm telling you, you are. You are. So just because the guy is tall, handsome, and this and that, and he has one Camry 4, you just believe you have gotten a husband. You are doing everything, including giving your body, just to ensure you stay in the relationship and make it work. And God is telling you, look at your life, look at it. It's not even about my agenda again. You don't care. It's about your selfishness. This guy is already shouting on you and beating hell out of you. You are going to give your children a home. A home where Jesus is not part of. You don't care. It's about you. It's about you. I told you that this message cuts across so many areas. I rushed this message. Any marriage and relationship, any ministry and a job that takes you away from God. Give me a job. Tell me to come to that job on Sunday. Pay me 300,000. Keep your job to yourself. Keep it. It's Babylon. It's Babylon. Apostle, we have suffered. We are almost dying in our family. Why haven't you died all this while? Why haven't you died? You would have died by now. Any job that takes you away from God is Babylon. It's not God. We're going to pray. To be very honest, I don't even know how to wrap up this teaching. I really wanted us to have time to pray, but worship team, we apologize for your time. But take our time. Pray again in 1 minute. Say, Lord, I won't be the reason why anybody gets to hell. I won't be the reason why the body of Christ gets divided. I won't be the reason why the church, the body of Christ as a whole doesn't grow. I don't want to constitute the gate of hell. I want to be a kingdom person. No matter the inconvenience, no matter the price I have to pay, I'm willing to pay it to see your kingdom come. It's not even first about give us our daily bread. It's about thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. It's not about give us this day our daily bread. No, it's about growing the church. It's about growing the church. I won't allow my personal ego. I won't allow my personal greed and selfishness. I won't allow my personal desire for whatever to stand in the way of advancing the kingdom. My personal pleasure, that is something my flesh wants. has to be about the kingdom, oh dear Lord. Brendo Sabrila Gabashitaya. Legabarada Basitaya. Say, Lord, may my life truly bring you glory. I truly live for your glory. May my life bring you glory. It is beyond and above me. Now I realize that the picture is bigger than me. Now I realize that it's not about me and my family. Now I realize it's not about me and my finance. Now I realize it's not about me and my mother and my father. The picture is bigger. The picture is about the king. The picture is about the kingdom. The picture is about the king. There are people who have lost their lives. There are people who were burnt with fire. There are people who were killed with knives just to ensure they get the word to us. Just to ensure they get the gospel to us. It will not die in my hands. It will not die in my time. It will not die in my hands. It will not die in my hands. La braskaba shoto balada braya. Rabakabako soto balada brende. Shena na 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 mo salavariada. Lord, we really love you. We honor you in this house. We are a kingdom people. Our desire is not just giving us our daily bread. Our desire is to see thy kingdom come, to see your will done on earth as it is in heaven. It is beyond us. It is beyond me. It is beyond us. It is beyond me. Hey, hey, Hallelujah. One more prayer. One. Listen, we really apologize to worship him for your time. Help that lady. You're going to pray one prayer. God is truly looking for people. That was a prophetic word. Give the spirit of prophecy. One prayer. Lord, I know I'm growing and I yet don't know my possibilities. Some of you think you won't be the one criticizing the body of Christ now because you are still poor. Or you've not faced the frustration of failure. Some of you don't know what you are capable of doing. You don't know now. You don't know. Some of you don't know that you are capable of being the one to attempt to tear down the body. You don't know now. You don't know. Because you are still here humbly starting. Some of you don't know you have the capacity to insult me. Now, you don't know. It's not yet in you. But for somebody, that might be a possibility seated in you. Quietly, waiting for the right time. 10 years to come, you are now surprised that you are the one doing the things you are doing. You will go into your room and cry and say, but I don't want to do this. You will come out again. You don't know why you are doing it. You are going to pray. Some of you don't know you can manipulate people yet. You don't. It's a tendency. Whoever knew that David can sleep with a man and have sleep with a man's wife and kill him? David, a man after God's own heart. Who knew? Nobody would have told. If you have told David while he was in the wilderness or the cave of Adullam, he would have used a sword to kill you. Who are you talking to like that? I'm a man that loves God. Go and ask God my record. He called me a man after his own heart. Why will I kill a man and sleep with his wife? There are tendencies that can sleep there, waiting for the right time. You are going to pray the last prayer. Lord, I don't know my possibility. I don't know my tendencies. I don't know what I can do now. Am I capable of killing somebody? Am I capable of destroying the body? Am I capable of criticizing the body? I don't know what I can do, but please, whatever tendency that is in me that doesn't reflect you, kill it now before it kills me. Kill it now before it kills my life and destiny. Kill it now. 10 years to come, you are surprised with what your life is becoming. Shabaradabakaya. Lord, any tendency that is in me of unfaithfulness, of destroying the body, of manipulating the body, of manipulating God's people, whatever it is, tear it down now. Kill it in me before it kills me and destroy the work of God in my hand. Some of you don't know the possibilities of visiting a herbalist to get power for ministry. You don't know you have it until frustration comes on you. Oh God, kill it now. Kill it now. I don't want to get here before it destroys my life. Kill the tendency of pride, of arrogance, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes. Destroy it now before it destroys my life and your work in my hand. I don't want your investment upon my life to end like that. They cannot even end in a wrong marriage. They cannot even end in a wrong relationship. They cannot end in my ambition. They cannot end in my selfishness and greed. Your investment upon my life, oh God. Be enthroned as King, as Lord over my life. If having children will make me derail, may they not come. Help this young man. May they not come. If having influence will make me derail, help the young man there. May he not come. Hallelujah. Whatever it is that can come into my life and make me derail, may it never come. May it never come. Be it whatever, may it never come. And any tendency in me that has a way of destroying God's investment upon my life, no. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We're going to do a song 3 times. And then after 2 minutes, I'll just pick up our lives and we are done for tonight. And please mean it from your heart. Mean it. Jesus, you be lifted higher. Be lifted higher. Be lifted higher. In my life, marriage, relationship, ministry. Jesus, you be lifted high. If it's not about him, let it not come. Be lifted. Be lifted. Just take it easy with us. Jesus, you be lifted high. Be lifted high. Be lifted high. In this ministry for a lifetime. Jesus, you be lifted. Be lifted higher. Be lifted higher. Two more times in your academics. Jesus, you be lifted. Be lifted higher. Be lifted higher. One more time. Hey. Jesus, you be lifted high. Be lifted higher. Be lifted higher. Father, we thank you for all you are doing in our lives. Thank you for how you are raising us. Thank you for the things you are teaching us. It's already a proof that you are interested in us and you plan to commit great estates into our hands. My prayer in the name of Jesus is that you make the least among us become a kingdom person. Not just Christians by name. May we love you and love your agenda. May we love you and love your purposes upon the earth. May this thing not be about us, but about you and your kingdom. In the name of the Lord Jesus. May everything we do in the church, kingdom service, preaching, community service, whatever it is, business, relationship, may all of these things be to the end that the King is glorified. Lord, don't let us see ourselves. May our ambition, our selfishness, our human nature grow dim before the face of your glory. And let it be about the King and his kingdom. May you be all we see. May you be all we seek to enthrone. May it be about none of us, oh God. Let this thing be about you. Let it be about you, not us and our ministries, but you and your kingdom. First, before even our daily bread, may your kingdom come. And may your will truly be done on earth. May your will truly be done in our lives. May your will truly be done in everything that pertains us here on earth. Truly understand that you didn't create us for us. You created us for you. And in the name of Jesus, we are committed to ensuring your kingdom come. In case there is any tendency in any of us, including me, from me, as a matter of fact, that has a way of destroying your investment upon our lives as individuals, as a ministry, oh dear Lord, kill it. Any tendency, kill it. May it not have a way of destroying your investment upon our lives. For some of us who are truly behind time according to your programming, I pray for supernatural speed. I truly pray for supernatural speed. For everything we've heard today, may it not just be like one of those sermons. May we truly culminate into becoming kingdom people. Real kingdom people that love the King and his kingdom. That we will not be comfortable upon the earth if our life doesn't bring you glory. Be enthroned again, oh dear Lord. We don't just respect you, we fear you. We don't just fear you, we love and honor you. You are our King. You are our Lord. Everything we do is an attempt in our way to bring you glory. We honor you. We love you. And Lord, as we get committed to this kingdom, be committed to seeing that we truly become everything you want us to be. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name. Amen. Please be seated 2 minutes.